There we go. All right.
Radio's live, TV's live, we're live.
Everybody's live. Everybody is alive this morning.
Across the world.
Absolutely.
Well, just welcome everyone to another edition of Metalheads Unite on this Saturday. Well, in some cases,
Right.
a lot of our peeps from over across the pond they're already into Sunday. So,
yep.
So we're welcoming a band locally, I guess we could kind of say. Yes.
Yep.
They're from Johnson City, Tennessee, so not too far from me and Chris. So
yep.
Halo Scars.
So here we go. And there we go. We got the whole fucking
band. Look at this. The whole fucking band's here, man. Like I don't know if this has ever happened before. Like the whole band being on here.
No, it hasn't.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this is the first time we've had an entire band on in its entirety.
Well, welcome, guys. We appreciate you setting this up. I know it was about a month or so in the making, so we want to definitely extend our thanks to Dana Horn from the Metal and Tats page that kind of turned us on to you guys. So
Dana's the man.
Well, we appreciate that.
Dana and I promise you, Dana's around here somewhere. I actually talked to him on the phone about 15 minutes ago, and I talked to him about 15 minutes ago, and he was asking about chats and everything else. And then I can't remember. I talked to him. Let's see. Hold on. It was. I can't remember what day it was. Shit, I think it may have been Wednesday. He sent me. He called me and was texting me, and he sent me a bunch of flyers because you guys are, not to get too far ahead of things, but you guys are going to be going down to Florida in June with him and everything else. So he sent me all the flyers and everything, and I'll put those up on the screen here in a little bit because I've got those all screenshotted and everything else. So so Dana's all over the place. So yep, Dana and Krista are both in the chat. So
what's up, y'all?
What's up?
So they are here watching. Hey. And Dana, just so you know, you are still showing up as Facebook user, but hey, we know you're here. We know you're here, buddy. So so as far as anybody else watching the show today, if anyone's got any questions for our friends here in Halo Scars, just drop them in the chat. We'll get the questions sent out. So all right. So all right. First things first, gentlemen. You have to listen to me cough. That's first things first.
Yelling too many Machine Head songs last night. That's what
yeah. I should have gotten a bottle.
Actually, how was the Machine Head? How was the Machine Head show?
Oh, it was great, man. Like,
yeah, it was awesome.
The thing that I like about like this one, especially, I think it's like the third time that me and Chris both had went and seen them.
Mm-hmm.
But like in the past, what, three years, maybe 2 or 3 years, something.
Third show,
3 straight years.
Third show in 4 years.
Yeah, because of the COVID thing. Yeah, so
right. Yeah.
So and like this one was, to me, was a lot different than the other two that we went to. So it was pretty cool to get a different. He actually like kind of went out of character a little bit and started telling like a personal story, which is kind of crazy for Rob to do live. I'm just like, wow, that's pretty interesting. But not to get too much far off of you guys, but I think talking about the show, I think the thing that I like about Rob is we know his political views, but he never expresses that shit on stage, and that's what I love about him. Is like he knows the borderline to separate that bullshit and not to hurt his fan base. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, some people's going to be stupid and be like, "Oh, well, I don't like the motherfucker because he believes in this or that," or I don't care what your beliefs are. I just don't want to hear it. Try to throw it in my face while you're, I'm paying you to perform.
So, to be entertained, not to be
right. Yeah, I'm paying to hear your music. I'm not paying to hear your political views. If I want to do that, I'll subscribe to Fox or some bullshit. But
yeah.
Right. Well, and as far as like because this is, like you said, this is the third time we've seen them. And another thing that they did a little bit different than from the last couple of tours is, as far as in context of their catalog, they threw in a couple more of their ballady songs. Machine Head doesn't really have a ballad, but I mean, if you're talking about the overall tone and tempo of a song, they went, they sprinkled that in a little bit more. But
I was kind of surprised they didn't play more newer stuff too. It's like I think
they
played like 3 songs, but
they played 4. They played 4.
Did they play 4? Okay.
Yeah, they played 4 songs off of Van Kingdom and Crown. So they did all right. So yeah. So all right. So God damn it, I'm gonna have to get a water.
So speaking of that, I kind of thought it was kind of convenient for you guys to be on this week, since I just seen on your socials that you guys just got hard copies of the EP to throw around. So
everything is in DIY. So
DIY, do it yourself. Yeah.
It's also our first hard copy, and I still haven't even spun the disc yet.
Well, I'm a hard copy guy, so I definitely want to get my hands on one of those. So
right,
so we'll definitely let everybody know how to go about getting their hands on a hard copy of that EP.
Mm-hmm. So since it was DIY, I mean, how long did it take for the hard copy to come together?
Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was really going back kind of the way it was in like the early 2000s, late 90s, going to Staples, printing off all of the all of the artwork for the sleeves and things like that, and then getting the master and just getting everything printed off and just printing it ourselves. So very, very DIY.
But it turned out really, really good. Like the quality of it. I mean, the artwork and everything. I mean, it turned out really well.
Yeah. So that was cool.
So where's everything being distributed from? Is it somewhere locally here too?
Just us. We have everything in hand, and so if anybody reaches out, we send it out to them, and we take all the copies that we've got, take it to the shows, sell them, just with all the merch. So
nice.
We house it all.
Yeah, everything.
So now I was looking at the webs. You're talking about bringing all the merch to the shows and everything, and we'll get your guys' take on the merch thing in a minute. That's been kind of like an overall. it's been kind of like an ongoing theme here, especially over the last couple of months when since the controversy kind of started, even though it's been going on for a while. But I was noticing on your guys' website that there's not really an updated schedule. So I mean, how with it coming up towards the end of 22, and 23 is right around the corner, with the exception of the shows coming up in June that
so let's put it like this. We are currently trying to fix the website. We're reconstructing. In the last 6 months, we have been reconstructing everything. I'm talking about from merch level to the whole 9 yards. We'll end up having a web store. Everything else is just, we all work full time. So in between working full time, trying to get the rest of our songs, because we released the EP. We got our EPK set up the way that we wanted it to be. We have like 10 more songs that we're finishing up and really pushing everything out. And so it's just kind of been a process, but with us doing everything ourselves, this takes a little bit longer. But 2023, we have a lot in store, a lot.
So, and I was actually going to bring that up next because we've started following you guys on the socials and everything. I've seen some of the clips of the new music being made, and you just said you guys have 10 songs you're working on. Any sort of timeline as far as that being done? So you guys are sounds like you guys are putting together an LP now this time.
Yep. So one of the newer tracks that we just finished up, that's just going to be kind of pushed out. We are hoping to be able to push that one out singularly, probably in January, from the way it looks from the timeline for mixing and mastering. And then somewhere around February, we're sectioning out some more time to just go back into the studio and just really start finishing up some tracking that we got to do. So we are hoping to have everything out, and we are hoping everything could be pushed out before we leave for Florida.
Okay. All right. So summer. So basically a summertime release for the LP. Okay. That'd be
Possibly.
cool.
The biggest thing is just making sure that everything is in place. We don't, I know it's very cliche to say, but we don't want to sound like everybody else. Like when we have our stuff pushed out, we want it to sound like Halo Scars. We don't want it to sound like, All That Remains or something like that, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to be very, very, very particular, from the drum kicks to the bass notes to everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now,
I think my thing is when we come on and we do that kind of thing a lot of times with new albums, because that's kind of what we created this platform for, was to push bands that other metalheads may not know about. So and that's kind of like what we've been doing since we started this thing. So we'll go out and we'll find something new, and we try to put it into terms as, if you like, All That Remains, you may like Halo Scars. It's not, so we try not to compare the two, because you could probably say, oh well, they sound just like, but to every ear is different. So we don't want to put a thought into the people's head to thinking that they're going to hear exactly, something exact, and it's not going to be exact, and then they're mad at us because we told them, oh well, this sounds just like Linkin Park, and it don't. So
right. Yeah, it's part of the reason why, we have an album review segment at, towards the end of the show, and we always talk about that. It's like, look, this is just what we think about it. So if you're interested at all, give it a listen, but it's just a perspective of just a couple of guys, doing a podcast from their house.
So before we get too into this, I guess we should tell the people that are actually watching, if you guys want to introduce what you do with the band, so they kind of get an idea of, when we ask the question, they kind of know where the answers are coming from. So.
This is actually the first time we'll be able to go around the room and introduce everybody.
You started off, Kegan.
Can't hear. Yeah, we can't hear you, bud. It shows that his mic's not muted, so.
Drummers, what do you do with them?
He's still muted.
Yep. All right. So the guy that looks like he's saying words but is not, that's the
drummer. That's what drummers do, right? They just like they're backing up singing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's anything I could do on my end, because, like I say, it shows he's not muted. So
it's that Road Mountain internet connection.
What? That or StreamYard's weird. You gotta make sure that the mic and the headphone settings are all
Yep.
I'm Colby. I do the screaming and the singing.
Cool.
All right.
I'm Jason. Started the band, guitar player.
I'm Daniel Lawson. I play bass.
Yeah, we kind of knew who you guys were, but I just want to make sure everybody that's talking kind of or watching kind of knows where to look when we're asking stuff. So,
well, and we do have quite a few We do have quite a few listeners just on the radio side too. So a lot of people are just listening too, which is totally fine as well. We appreciate all of our listeners. So yeah. I don't know what to tell Keegan about. I don't know if you go out and come back in, if that might help. I'm not 100% sure. So now, where did what have you got? Colby just said it was his Rocky Mountain. Is he so
Roan Mountain?
Oh, Roan Mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say I thought you guys were all in East Tennessee. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's right at the Tennessee-North Carolina border.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well, I know the feeling because I mean, Jason can attest to that. There's been plenty of times where we've been doing the show and I've been right in the middle of a sentence and my Wi-Fi just fucking dies. So, so I mean, I've had to completely log out and log back in before plenty of times. So
that's kind of crazy. Just reminded me I need to go switch mine. So
okay,
I have two different Wi-Fi, so I use one just for this. So.
All right, hang on. Let me keep it back in. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Hey,
Oh,
yeah. The internet. It sucks up here. It really does. It really does.
Well, I was just telling the rest of the guys, I don't think it has anything to do necessarily with where you are, because I've had, we're just south of Nashville, Jason and I, and my internet or my Wi-Fi will just die at some point sometimes. So, so don't feel bad. It happens. We're doing a live show and shit happens. So, don't feel too bad. So
that's the lovely part of doing live shows.
Mm-hmm. That's the nature. It's the nature of the beast. Of course, you guys know doing live shows.
Yeah, right. You miss a riff or something, and you just got to keep going. So,
yep.
I mean,
or you pull it. Yeah, or you pull a Chuck Billy. So.
Oh my God. He's never going to live that down with us.
No, he's never going to live that down. For if you guys don't know, we went to see the Bay Strikes Back show in September, and Chuck Billy missed his mark at the beginning of Into the Pit and missed his cue to start singing. So so they had to stop, and everybody had a laugh, and they started the song back up, and everything's cool. So I don't know if you guys can any of you guys relate to that?
Nah, we don't know what you're talking about, man.
we don't do quick tracks. We don't do any type of intros or anything in that that we play off of. So when you get us fully. You get the screw ups. You get all the good stuff. It is 100% us.
Right.
So when it really goes off track, it can really go off track.
I think that's what makes a concert memorable, though. You're going to remember a lot of it, but just like we was talking about that, we're going to be talking about that for years because that was something that stuck out at the show. So even the screw ups make you remember,
exactly
great shows.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. It's one of Kegan's first shows with us.
It was my first show. It was my first show.
We weren't using it. And the monitors on the stage were not set up good. So Kagan had my cabinet to his left. He had Daniel's cabinet over to the right, but they were kind of set up in front of him. So he truly could not hear what was going on in front of him. So he missed a few of his cues and things went off a little bit. So we had to stop the show. Kind of rearranged my cabinet just so he could hear what was going on. Again,
that's just a shout out to, and we talk about on the show plenty of times. It's not just the guys on stage. I mean, all the road crews and everybody get handling all the equipment and getting everything set up. They're just as important.
Yep.
So Kegan didn't get fired after screwing up in his first show. That's good. All right, that's good to know. All right,
almost.
Okay, so all right, so this isn't the original iteration of the band. So kind of go through how the band came together as it's set up now.
Okay. 2018, me and the former bass player were playing together in another band, and it wasn't cohesive. It really wasn't what either of us were really into. And so I started writing other tracks. And one day I was like, man, look, I'm gonna leave this. Do you want to come with me? He said, sure. So myself and John Woods, bass player, we had about 6 tracks all together. We found on bandmix.com, we found a local drummer, and we just started pulling things together very quick. 2019, we found a vocalist who is more of a hardcore vocalist, Cody Jenkins, and he kind of set in. He started writing tracks very quick. So within about 2 months of Cody coming into the band, we were playing shows. But then COVID happened, life happened. There was just some changes that had to take place. So in 2022, I had to replace Cody and John with Colby and Daniel. And at the early part of the first of this year, JP, the previous drummer, was replaced by Kegan. And from this point, everybody has kind of really been on the same page. Everybody's been able to kind of look at what we want to do, look at the long run of things, and it's one of the strongest that we've been. So I'm very proud of this unit as it is.
So how long?
Say that one more time. You broke up.
Oh, sorry. I was like wondering how long you've been playing, like, because you said you went through all these changes and stuff. But how long have you been playing within a band?
Before I was conceived.
I am the oldest of the group. I've been doing this, playing in bands and things like that since early 2000s. So it's not new. The grind of it is not new. The cycle, but this group that we've been in has been going on. This will be the 4th year, moving toward the 5th year.
Yeah. So what I've like noticed about a lot of bands now is like they don't seem to hit their stride until they're about 10 years like anymore like you used to, where we see this band in a club and sign them 3 months later. It's not like that. Of course, things have changed since the 80s. We grew up in the 80s, so not to age ourselves too much,
right? Yeah, not too much.
but
Not too much.
so saying this, and I know this is kind of a personal.
Breaking up again.
Yeah, you're breaking
What
up
is
again,
what is y'all's age ranges as far as like age?
I'm the baby.
You're the baby?
24. I'm the baby.
27.
I'll actually be 28 next week.
Cool.
I actually am kind of pretty familiar with the 80s, like you guys.
So he's the father of the band here.
That's dad. That's dad.
Old Daddy Jason.
Yeah, when they screw up, they're all grounded. So
taking your instruments away.
Yeah. You take and it's pretty easy to take Kegan's internet time away from him too. All you gotta do is wait.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the reason I asked that is because we're always asked. We always get a story or something where a lot of bands like Arch Enemy or Metallica or somebody's like, well, who's next? Who's the next big band to like come along or something like.
Yeah, see, the internet sucks everywhere, Kegan. It's not just you.
Seeing like there's bands in their 20s and 30s out there playing is kind of cool, because those bands could be the next big thing still. Because you think 10 years from now, I mean, it doesn't take long to pop up now with the streaming devices and things like that. So
yeah,
it really doesn't. I mean, if you look at band longevity, throughout certain points, it's like maybe they cycle through different members and things like that, and the different members that come in really like reignite the fire and stuff, and you get better albums, you get better songs, and it over time, it's like you said, they start hitting their stride later on, because that's when the cohesiveness is. And sometimes it's just for a minute, sometimes it lasts for quite a while. So it depends.
Yeah. So you said when you formed the band, you had a bandmate you wanted to come with you. you said the previous band wasn't exactly what you wanted to do. Now Halo Scar, the current band Halo Scar is kind of like you got more of a like the metalcore sound to it.
Yeah.
What was the sound in the previous band that wasn't quite what you were looking for? So I mean, what was the sound of the last band?
Dad rock.
Dad rock. Okay, all right, I got you.
Technically, wouldn't this be Dad Rock?
They were doing back.
No, it's I don't want to. The musicians in that band were very great as well, but for me, like I said, I come up at the end of the '80s, so I got to hear all of those great guitar players and all those things, and I got to see, in the '90s when Megadeth and Metallica launched Countdown to Extinction, the Black Album, and Symphony of Destruction, when that came out, I was just like, I loved that. And then Pantera started like carrying the flag throughout the '90s. Still yet you had Nile. For me, Nile kind of picked up where Death left off. And I love that. So I was into all of these other heavier bands. And then when you get to a certain point, new metal kind of came out. I was never really a big Limp Bizkit Korn fan, but from there, things just started to branch out even more. And then in early 2000s, my very favorite band of all time, Byzantine, they hit around the West Virginia scene. And so once they launched their initial album, Fundamental Component, I was just like, this is it. I love this. And I had a lot of influence from that record itself. So I just started writing heavier things, and it's just what I love. That's me.
Yeah, well, yeah, you knew it when it hit you. Talking about the Byzantine album. So speaking of influences, what other influences are we talking about band wise as far as the rest of the guys in the group? What are we bringing to the table?
Go ahead and start it.
I know lately I've listened to a lot of Lamb of God, so I listen to Chris Adler a lot, and that man, just listening to him play, it's given me some ideas of what I can do for future songs and just for the future alone. So yeah, I know that's one influence for me.
You could definitely do a lot worse than him for sure.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Oh, me next. I don't know. I kind of grew up playing acoustic guitar, so the bass is still kind of new to me. But since I've been in this band, it's been about a year or two now. I've really been taking it serious. So I went back and listened to Cliff Burton, some Metallica, just really trying to focus on the bass as an instrument.
Okay, so you're not like a bassist by trade.
No.
Okay,
no.
All right.
No, it's relatively new to me.
Okay, all right, interesting. All right. Well, still, you still got hell of a amount of resource material to kind of fall back on.
Oh yeah. I mean, like a lot of the bands I listened to growing up was of Mice and Men, a lot of metalcore stuff.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
I mean, like I said, of Mice and Men. That's probably one of my favorite bands, biggest influences.
I'm a big fan of Mice and Men myself. So.
Oh yeah. Nice.
One of my wife's favorite songs is Bones Exposed. So.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, she loves that song. So.
For me, if we're going to talk on a vocalist aspect, I can't really pinpoint a certain vocalist, but I can give you some bands that's kind of helped me, especially with the songwriting process and being able to create melodies. So for me, I am a sucker for a good melody. Growing up, my era of music was early 2000s through 2010. So you had that new metal phase, that whole Linkin Park hitting hard, and then all the way up through your, hardcore, emo, pop punk, stuff like that. So hearing those melodies and stuff like that always stuck in my head. As in a big time band, Breaking Benjamin is one of my biggest influences, Breaking Benjamin. John Cooper from Skillet. I really like the way that he does certain melodies and things like that, and the way he uses his voice. Skillet was actually one of the first rock concerts that I'd ever been to, and hearing the way that he did some stuff kind of changed my perspective when it comes to music in different aspects. As in a screaming format, Austin Carlisle from the Mossa Men, Mitch Lucker from Suicide Silence. Who else? Phil from All That Remains. I really like some of the stuff that he does, especially the way he sings and then he goes into the screams.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of different things. Basically, for me, any band that has a really good melody and really knows how to transition from screaming to singing, and everything just flows together and just packs that punch, that's always something that gives me some drive. Because I'm actually a new vocalist. I've always been a guitarist.
Oh wow! Okay, so everybody's transitioning into
So everyone's a little not out of their element per se, but they've kind of taken on a role that is, I guess, a little unnatural to them. So that actually, I think that kind of would. I don't really know if I've ever heard about that happening too often, but it sounds like it adds definitely a different perspective when you've got somebody playing, because you got a guitar player or bass player who's a natural guitarist, so it gives it like a different perspective on how it's played, because all right, I'm going to do this, it's new to me, so I'm going to do it different just because I'm still learning as we're kind of going. And I've never sang before, so I guess I might as well try this out and see how it goes. So that is a very, very interesting perspective on it.
I feel like it creates depth for the band too, though, because you
Oh yeah, sure.
You have to
it absolutely can
to do something later, so that's pretty cool. You guys over here bragging about playing two things and we can't play one, so there you
go. We've always just kind of been like just kind of road dogs. Any show that we could pick up, that's what we do. So for Daniel, for Colby, you can kind of tell it's like coming to the live shows, especially on parts, because it's just bass, guitar, drums, vocals. That's all we are. So you can kind of hear on some of Daniel's bass lines that it's like sometimes it's like a small guitar solo.
I wouldn't say that.
Uh-oh.
I mean, it's very cool.
Making blush.
I mean, it is very cool because it gives them a chance to they approach it in their own way. So it's like you said, it adds depth, and some of the note choices and things like that are not always what you would expect to be played on a certain line. So it's cool.
When you describe it that way, it reminds me of the Mr. Big song, "Addicted to That Rush." I remember when that first came out, I didn't realize, like, when I heard it, the beginning of that song is Billy Sheehan on bass. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious? So it's kind of
we are not whatsoever on the level of Billy Sheehan. So it is not.
But I get that. But I was just saying, like, it kind of reminded me of that when you said that, because he's like, oh, you got it's like a guitar solo, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember thinking that one time, and I was just kind of coming to my mind. So yeah, we don't want anybody to compare anybody to anybody else. Halo Scars is Halo Scars. So
that's right.
And I'm a metalcore fan, so I definitely enjoyed everything about the EP.
Thank you.
Look forward to the album, at this point. So, like I said, I kind of felt, I kind of was trying to pinpoint where I felt, the comparisons, or what kind of get a feel of what you guys were using that as inspiration.
Kind of breaking up on there, buddy.
Oh,
yeah, you're
sorry.
breaking up.
So, but anyway, I was just saying that listening to you guys talk about listen to that when I was listening to the EP.
Keep going.
And
Yeah, I was gonna send you a message and ask you if you had switched to your other Wi-Fi. Yeah, because normally I'm the one fucking cutting in and out like that, and he's got to tell me. So
so I think it kind of messed it up when I'm live streaming and I do that. I think it messes it up. So and I forgot. So you got me now. You hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. But I was saying, like, when you guys were talking about your inspirations or whatever, I didn't get all that remains feel from it until you actually said that a minute ago, and I thought, well, I can kind of see that now.
Damn it, man. Going.
Damn.
yeah, I mean, as far as when I was listening to it, obviously, you've got the metalcore sound, and not to try to, we don't try to necessarily try to pigeonhole anybody to a genre, a subgenre rather, but the metalcore is there, but I didn't really hear like a comparable sound, and I mean that in like the nicest way possible, because it was, it had everything about it to me was distinct and unique unto itself. The vocals, like I say, everything. So and that's coming from me, and like Jason is the metalcore guy between the two of us, so he covers it a lot more. He's got a lot more experience as far as that subgenre goes. I mean, I listen to a lot of it, but he listens to way more of it than I do. But I've seen All That Remains before and stuff like that. So Phil Labonte, you talked about him a little while ago, and I got to hear him I can't remember what year it was. This has been a while back, but got to see him in Atlanta. Actually got to meet him real quick, but so I could see that when you say it, but like I say, when I first listened to the EP as a whole, I was like, I can't really nail down who these guys sound like. And like I say, I mean that in like the best way possible, because it's like you talk about, you're not trying to emulate anybody. You're not trying to, even pay tribute to anybody necessarily. You're trying to find your own niche and your own sound. And on the first 5-6 listens, thankfully with the EP only being like 22 minutes long, able to keep on going through it. So I was like, yeah, I can't really, not that I was trying necessarily, but I was like, yeah, I can't really find a comparable. And that's what I liked about it.
One thing about us, which is I think that's really cool, is one thing is with the age gap. So you have Jason, who comes from an older era than us. Say you're old, but you have all these different eras that come together. So everybody who has certain influences from each era, so forth, you combine all that together and create one thing. One thing that we tried to do with the EP is each song that we put in there to make it sound, we didn't want each song to sound the same. We wanted to show different attributes of what we kind of do. And the new single that we'll be releasing is basically another thing too. It's another aspect. It doesn't sound like any of the songs on the EP. It's true. It's its own thing.
That actually kind of makes sense, because you were talking about, we were talking a little bit ago about how, bands in certain lineups, they just don't really have it. And then another band lineup comes along and then they hit their stride, and even referencing Machine Head. I mean, hell, Rob Flynn's the only original member left in the band. So, it all depends on who's in it and the way everything comes together. And you just referenced the age gap. You guys are bringing a different perspective, a different mindset, a different skill set, which all can contribute to the chemistry coming together in the sound. And, you know, with Jason being a little older, he's got, I guess, more stuff he can fall back on. So when you guys bring everything in that you guys have, and he puts it together with everything that he's done, we keep going back to it. You have the depth, which lends itself to the potential for a more expansive sound and different avenues that everything can branch off of.
Yeah.
So again, it's just, it can all be a benefit.
Yes. Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And also, right now, we're at a point, there's no record labels. There's no, we are not tied to anything that says we have to, we need you to stay in this to market you in this. We don't have that. So if we want to throw something out that is like death metal, if we want to throw something out that is,
Like
thrash, if he wants to sing something like Cher. So right now it's very cool because we don't have really any restraints. We can just go. We can play, and it's cool.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, Machine Head was trying to do Taylor Swift "Shake It Off" last night. So
They were, yeah. They were. Yeah, they were. I think they got all the way. Up to the.
That era of Taylor Swift is trash, man. Old school Taylor's where it's at. Our song, Jason's jam.
Jesus, did somebody just get thrown under the bus? Jesus Christ,
Right.
man. All right, want to take a second here just to address a couple of our folks in the chat here. Like I say, Dana and Krista are both here. Hey, Dana put a comment in the chat a little bit ago that said, "Halo Scars drove 5 hours to play for me last year at our pre-Christmas show." So, because I know you, Jason, I know you said you guys are like road dogs and you'll take any show you can get, which, I mean, you got to do that, man. You got to ground and pound. I know. So,
well, I mean, it goes back to what we've talked about on here all the time. I mean, if you got to travel 5 hours to make money off of merch, then that's what you do. I mean,
yeah, that's
because I mean, Spotify damn sure ain't gonna pay the bills. So
Yeah, we're really learning that.
yeah.
Well, hopefully, but I did read where they were actually talking about profiting money this year. So hopefully that's something that they can take going forward and kind of spread that out a little bit more. So
yeah,
we'll see if they do the right thing with it. I doubt
sure
it,
as hell need to. That's for sure.
You would mention Dana and Krista. They have been really over this past year. They've been a big help, and the metal and tats community have really been a big push for us and have really helped out quite a bit. Dana and Krista have both behind the scenes been working to set up different shows and things like that. And later this year, they've got a metal and tats tour, invasion tour, that we're going to be doing in Florida. Tons of good bands on that. So
I'm gonna pull those up. I'm gonna pull those up now. You can keep talking. I'm gonna pull those up so everyone can see them.
So Dana has actually been always kind of working things behind the scenes with us. Be like, hey guys, can you do this? We've got this coming up. So we're getting to hit going to hit the Brass Mug, going to hit Ollie's. We've got Dana's also Dana and Krista are both starting to push for things in some possibilities of Louisiana, Colorado.
Nice.
They've got some contacts throughout Kentucky, things like that. Alan Ashbaugh. So really, when you mention Dana and Krista, those are two people that have been very important to us. And we tons of respect for them. Tons of respect.
Yeah. You can see right now. I got. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got the flyer for June 9th up there right now. You show at Ollie's Pub. Got Dead Rival, Rebirth, Cypher Machine, and yours truly. Let's see, we got June 10th at the Brass Mug, Rebirth, Cypher Machine, Halo Scars, Mind Virus, and Rob Wolf. Let's see, then we've got, that's the 16th. Then we got June 16th, the very next weekend at the Haven Lounge. Got Rocks, Rebirth, Cypher Machine, and Halo Scars. And then last but not least, on the 17th at Leo's Live down in Lakeland, Florida, got Wrecked by Apathy, Rebirth, Cypher Machine, and Halo Scars. So yeah, we we met Dana. Well, we got to know Dana because of the show. We found his Facebook group not too long after we started this whole thing, and I can't remember like who reached out to who first, to be completely honest with you. But and then we were supposed to meet up at the Bay Strikes Back show in Chattanooga earlier this year. They were there and we were there. Turns out we were Jason and I were posted up on the opposite side of the stage from Dana and Krista, so we were trying to figure out who was where, and they were in the because we were down at the Signal in Chattanooga, so we were trying to figure out where both of us were standing. And long story short, we ended up not meeting face to face at that show, even though I was standing outside the venue and Dana and Krista actually walked right past me, and I didn't realize it at the time because this was back when Krista still had her, her foot was all jacked up. So, so Dana was pushing Krista, in the wheelchair right along the side of the venue, and I was actually standing on the sidewalk, and I was turned around and I heard "excuse me," and I had to move, and turns out it was Dana and Krista walking right past me, and I didn't realize it at the time until a couple of days later. I actually went to the the Metal and Tats Facebook page, and I was like, holy shit, that's what Dana looks like. I actually saw him. They walked right past me, and I didn't even fucking realize who it was. So it wasn't until it wasn't Dead Ritual. I'm sorry, I said Dead Rival. Sorry. Thanks, Dana. Appreciate that. But it wasn't until the Megadeth and Lamb of God show in Nashville, not long after that I actually met Dana face to face. We were up at Bridgestone Arena up in Nashville watching the show, and it just so happened that the section that my daughter and I were sitting in, they were one section over along the rail. So, I mean, we were basically sitting one section over from each other at the arena there in Nashville. So we ended up finally making an official face-to-face introduction there, and it's kind of just taken off from there. We've kind of gotten together. We haven't directly collaborated on anything yet, but we're working on that. We're hoping to, not to try to speak for Jason too much, but he did invite us to come down to Florida in June, to kind of follow the tour along with you guys. So that's something we're hoping to do. We're hoping to be able to come down and, maybe do a live stream from, one of the venues. So that's something we're kind of hoping to do. So, but yeah, Dana's been, I know he's helped you guys a lot. I mean, he has like name dropped you guys a ton, and deservedly so. He was super duper stoked to hear that you guys were coming on the show. I had sent him a message and said you were going to be on the show, and he was super duper hyped up. And like I say, he texted me earlier in the week and sent me the flyers, and he actually sent me a promo video too, but we can't really do video on here just yet. The setup is still a little off, but after the show, I am going to put the promotional video up on the Metalheads Unite Facebook page, so it will get out there. So we'll put it up for you guys out there. But Dana's a really good dude. We haven't known him as long as you guys have, obviously, but so we've known Dana going on, I guess it's probably, hell, it might be pushing a year now. So him and Krista, very cool. they invited us out to they had a show that they put on just outside of Lewisburg back in July, the Slammin' in the Stick show that they put on out there, and they invited Jason and I to come out to that, and we actually did our very first remote live stream from there. So that was super cool of them to invite us to come out to do that. We were super appreciative, and we live streamed our show during the entire show. So I mean, we ended up doing, I think, 6.5 hours of live streaming that day, because we had the show that morning, and then we went out to Lewisburg and did Dana's show that night. So it was very cool of them to invite us out to do that, because he definitely didn't have to, but so he kind of he really, and you guys know, him and Krista, they are super duper into metal, and they just want to get the word out there, and so do we. So like Jason said, we kind of set this whole thing up to kind of get the word out to bands who deserve more recognition than they're getting. So the bands that we've invited on are, bands that we think fit that description, and you guys are one of them. So we're grateful for Dana. We're grateful for you guys for coming on the show. So,
and I just want to say that too, just to kind of to piggyback off what you said, is like we've sent out a lot more invitations for bands to come on that have not been accepted as well. So it's not just the bands that came on; it's some bands that have never accepted. So there's other bands out there that we think deserve to be in that category. They just never came on the shows.
Well, all we can do is extend the invitation. We can't.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna make anybody want to do that.
Right.
There's a lot of good bands out there that still need that more than coming on here talking about Judas Priest or Anthrax every week, which they don't need anything. So the only thing Anthrax needs is transportation overseas. So
exactly, yeah, they had to cancel another damn show because of logistics. It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if you look at the market right now, I mean, it's, and I mean, even us, we are just four guys that work. He and I both are in the medical field. Kagan works at Lowe's. Daniel works at a distribution center. So, I mean, we are all just like packing in the hours and the time. So right now, with like prices the way they are, inflation, I mean, and really the only kind of money that we make from this is merch.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult. I mean, for all bands of all levels right now, except for probably like, Whitesnake and guys like that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, see, that's you model to go out and do flips on your car or something on your next video, and then you'll be good. So
I mean, hold on, the computer's up.
So you just referenced merch. So you talk about that's where the bulk of your money comes in. So I guess we'll ask you guys about everything that's going on right now with the 20% house cut.
Yeah. It's I mean, we don't go in and sign a contract and say, hey guys, you owe us X amount from your bar sales.
Right.
We don't, and there's been multiple bands that have referenced that. The merch is something that we design. We have to buy the shirts. We have to pay to get it printed off. We have to pay to get the CD sleeves and everything. We have the discs themselves. We have to pay for all that. We have to pay for the studio time. But yeah, you go to certain venues and it's expected that they get 20% of your merch cut. And that's gas, that's food, that's, for us, at least on the road, that's.
Especially when we're trying to branch out into different areas. So like, Nashville, let's say Greenville, South Carolina, Florida, all that is money out of our own pockets. And so we sell merch and different things. That's just kind of basically just paying for a gas, a little bit of the cost for the hotel stay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to make any money right now in the industry unless you've blown up on TikTok or something like that. It's hard. It's very hard.
So I think at some point a promoter is gonna like have to take a stand and be like, "Hey, if you're gonna charge my guys this money, we're not gonna play here."
Yep.
I mean, I think that's and until you get those bigger bands that can afford to do, can cut or whatever. You do have some. Oh, I'm sorry, but you do have some bands that's still. Like I said, Bad Omens was just the one that we talked about. I mean, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
You just kind of said something that is kind of something to think about, though. For example, the bigger bands, say, for example, your A-list bands that are the main acts, at a lot of these venues, you are required to sell your merch at the same price as those bands.
Oh, see, that's a wrinkle that I didn't know.
I never heard that one. That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
So because, for example, if we're selling our shirts for, say, like $10 and the main band is selling their shirts for $40, somebody is more apt about a $10 shirt than whatever, unless it's your hardcore fan. So if we are required to sell our merch at the same price as these other bands, again, being a lesser known band, we're not going to make anything, because who's going to pay $40 for a shirt from us as opposed to $40 from insert other huge band name that you want to there.
That's what you pull. I'll be a band if you want a $10 shirt.
Yeah. So I mean, there's lots of aspects of it. It is very hard for a small band to be able to pull it together and to do anything, but
especially this day and age.
We're trying. So
has that, because you talk about being, the road dogs that you are, has that deterred you from playing specific places? Because I know you guys have been I know you guys are going to the Brass Mug, and you guys have been there before, right? You guys been to the Brass Mug before?
Not.
Okay. All right. So this will be your first time, but now there was a place that's listed on your website, the list that I did see. It's there in Johnson City, the Capones. So has there been a place, not throwing Capones under the bus, but has there been a place like that's tried to do that, and you're like, no? So has that been a deal breaker for you ever?
No, for most of we have gotten lucky. For most of the venues that we've played at, typically a lot of the smaller venues do not have the merch aspect like that. When you're going into the bigger name places, then more of the well-known that are more traversed by the bigger bands and things like that, that's when you're starting to hit that a little bit more. Some of your smaller local places, they're not there yet. They're just happy to kind of pull people in and, pull a crowd and make money that way.
So far, we've not experienced anything like that.
So
okay, well, that's good.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I think this is probably Dana, because like I said,
it is. Yeah, that's actually what I was trying to find out if it was Dana or not. So
okay, because Dana said he would pay $39.99 for a Halo Scar shirt, but not $40. Dana's not a fan of round numbers, apparently. So.
Yeah. You can't split that up 4 ways, Dana. Sorry.
Well, Kagan's the youngest. He'd have to take the hit, probably.
Yeah, I'd probably get shafted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to also give a quick shout out to our friend Victor and Rosemary. They're both in the chat. Victor and Rosemary are basically our unofficial South American correspondents here. So Victor and Rosemary, they're brother and sister, and they have their own Facebook group. It's called Rockin' Heavy, and so they've kind of supplied us with some of their South American contingent as far as fan base goes. So they're both here in the chat today. So appreciate you guys being here. So
absolutely.
So all right, so that's good. You guys haven't been affected by that because Jason and I both think it's, we think it's bullshit all the way around. So thankfully it hasn't really gotten to you guys yet. But that, like you said, that is one thing that we didn't know, that everyone has to sell their shirts at the same price. I think that kind of bites too. So that was actually the first time I heard about that. So all right.
I always say, I try to say I can relate, but I can't, because when like I said, I know this is going to get redundant, but I used to be a pro wrestler, and like one of the things that I had my own merch. So, but being in that field is like this thing, your money or whatever. We would be like, hell no, and we'd probably beat the shit out of them, because that's kind of what we did. But it's kind of hard to do that as a fan, because then you kind of like burning bridges or whatever. But
the biggest thing for us when it comes to any type of situation, we tread the waters carefully. I mean, I'm not saying that any venue is going to do this, not going to say anything like that. Is we just always play our cards carefully, because the way that the world is now, everybody's trying to screw somebody over.
mm-hmm.
We don't want to screw anybody over. We want people to make money. We want the venues to make their money. We want to be able to make some money. We want this to be equal, ground for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we always go with the mindset of there's always the potential thing of getting screwed over. And not trying to throw anybody under the bus, nothing like that. It's just keeping that mindset, so we're kind of mentally prepared in case that does happen.
Yeah. Well, it's just like we were just talking about, is the torch is about to be handed, because you already got bands like Godsmack and stuff talking about hanging it up. So I mean, you got a lot of those bigger bands.
Just cut it out again.
Even I don't know how long he can keep doing what.
Yeah, Jason, you're cutting out again, buddy.
He's gone completely.
Not completely.
They only allow the swear words. They don't nothing.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we got reverse. Yeah, we got reverse censorship here. All you get are the fucks. That's all you get.
No, but kind of something like he's talking about. Some of your A-level bands that you start looking, and if you even if you want to put it on perspective, like Priest, Maiden, Ozzy, all of those guys are in advanced age. Take all of those bands right now that are still going, it's like pretty soon that torch is going to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start looking on your festivals and things like that, you've got your your A-level bands, B, C, and D levels, the smaller bands. Who's really going to be the guys that rise up and take that spot? It's a toss-up. Who puts on the better live shows? Who fights for their fans more? Who interacts more? Who is it's a toss-up, and you're seeing bands right now that are rising up, like Ginger. Ginger is an awesome band. They're so different from anybody else, the sound and things like that. So you could see them coming up. If you take, like, it is not my style of music. I can't necessarily say that I'm a fan, but
well, Taylor Swift is already big. We know that. So
bands like Polyphia, you can kind of see how what started from like Frank Zappa and then Steve Vai, and then how that has just branched out, and now you've got like bands like Lithia that are emerging like that. So it's kind of, you don't know who's going to make it up to those A-level bands to really carry the torch, like Metallica has, like Megadeth has, like
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is now is you don't have that media back to,
Exactly.
like you did in the 80s. It's like
Yeah.
you got so many different outlets to go through instead of just the one club scene, so it's a whole different ball game now. And I think that's where you have to look at streaming's kind of killed some aspects of metal, but then again it's kind of helped some aspects of metal, I guess. So because I mean without Spotify I wouldn't know about a lot of these bands. I'll just be honest, because radio's not going to play the shit,
Yeah, I mean back in the day it was radio and MTV.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then MTV played videos for 5 years and that was it. So
Yeah.
So, then we had to watch reality TV for 20 years. So so
true.
Yeah, I was actually going to say what you just said, Jason, because I mean, if there's one thing that we have learned, because we always knew it, but if there's one thing that we knew for sure that was proven to us over the past, because we are coming up on 2 full years of doing the show, is we have not even like scratched the surface on the amount of heavy metal bands that are out there. I mean, we are literally, no fucking lie, discovering new bands on a weekly basis, just doing research for content for the show. And a lot of these bands have been around for a long time. I mean, there's been some bands that we've discovered, and I say discovered, it's just discovered to us. Obviously there are people who know who they are, but there's been a couple of instances where we have been turned on to bands that have been around, literally a couple of them since the 80s, that are like 20 and 25 albums into their career.
Right.
And we're like, where the fuck have we been? But just like you guys, we have full-time jobs, I have a wife and kids, Jason has a wife and kids. And, so I mean, we don't have, 8 to 10 hours a day to just sit here and be like metal. Of course, we're talking about borderline dream right there, so at the same time, if there's one thing we've learned, that there are fucking bands out there in spades. And like Jason said, it's on one hand, it's good because there are thousands of bands out there. On the other hand, it's bad because you don't have time to listen to them all. And even with Spotify, it's hard to sift through all of them. And because the music industry is such shit as far as like record labels as a whole, because I mean, hell, we've had, our other guests have talked about, the industry, and you read about it in the news anyway. Record labels, I mean, they're borderline useless anymore. So there is no media. All right. There isn't like record labels like latching on to like, maybe just say like a half a dozen of these and like elevating them. All right, here's your next core of metal bands that you are going to like, because I mean, Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, Slayer, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, those for a while, like for the span of like 2 decades, that was heavy metal. When you thought about heavy metal, those are the bands you thought about, and then those were the bands you would listen to, and they're like, all right, I listened to them, let's see what else is out there. And then you would discover, maybe Exodus, Testament, Death Angel, the bands who are, like to Metallica and the big four's 1A, those acts are like 1B. So right now you can go out and find heavy metal bands all day long, but you have to look, because they're not being offered to you. Here, try this. Here, try that. And that's what we're trying to do. I mean, hopefully we're having some modicum of success doing that. I mean, I think we are with, the numbers we're getting. I think we're doing okay. So hopefully we're helping. That's what we want.
I think the big thing would be like doing this again, like 5 years down the road, and we're both making money off of doing what we're doing. That would be awesome. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
It's kind of like a weeding out process. Do you remember in the late 80s, early 90s, if a band had a certain look, it's like everybody was signed, and like you had, like you're mentioning, like there was almost 20 bands that looked like Motley Crue that were pushed out all at once.
Yeah.
Now you don't necessarily have you don't have the record labels that are pushing like that. But if you look on social media and if you look on Spotify, you've got specific bands that are really hitting big, and then you can notice that you've got a bunch of bands that are very, very similar to that even sound exactly like that. So it, in a sense, it is, you can still get caught up in the same style of, I guess, just getting weighed down by so many bands that sound the same. So you really do have to weed through and find like what really catches your ear. What are the bands that are really starting to like, that's different. That is something cool that I've not seen or heard before. That is.
So how cognizant of that do you guys have to be? That way you don't fall into like the proverbial trap. Or do you guys just or do you guys just like, hey, you know, this is how we want this to sound, and this is going to be us, and if it just so happens to sound like X or Y or Z, then it's just how it is, because this is the way we want it to sound. This is how you know, this is what feels right. This is the way we want it composed. This is the way we want it, you know, recorded, put together, mixed, mastered, and all that stuff. So
kind of in a way, I mean, Daniel and myself, a lot of times when we're playing and we're coming up with stuff, it's we kind of have to look back and it's like, did we do that run in a different song? Did we do something similar to that? Maybe we should just scratch that and just, you know, and then we have to rewrite. Kagan, he, you know, for example, when we were just in the studio last weekend before last, he was working through them. Then he was kind of listening back to some of his feels and things like that. We were all listening to them, and so he kept working on different feels to add different things in, just so it would just catch different, so it wouldn't seem like something that we put out before. So it's always just it's always a renewing process, always.
So, not trying to go all the way back to the beginning of the show, but I meant to ask this then. You know, you guys are talking about, you know, putting the album together, literally DIY, talking about, you know, every aspect of it. So the mixing and mastering process, you know, the final, you know, polishing, you know, touches and everything. How is that getting done for you guys?
Alex at the Sound Asylum, I think we're all kind of so happy to have someone else do that.
Mix and mastering, yeah. Alex is the one who does all that. So Alex is really, really cool, and he's really good at what he does. So Alex has a very diverse taste in music. So Alex is about my age, and so he kind of has that same mindset as I have when it comes to vocal melodies and kind of growing up listening to the same thing that Daniel and I have. But then also at the same time, he really likes the things that Jason likes as well. So when we come in and we mix all those different styles, he actually understands it and kind of knows what we're wanting to push for. And then he'll add some inputs on things to add, maybe take away, or something to emphasize on.
What's cool about the end of the day is he will say, "Hey guys, do you like this?" Before we released the EP, it went through four different takes, and we were like, "This isn't really it. This needs up. This needs down. This needs changed. You can't really hear this that well." So he would go back in and remix and remaster. If it's just us locked away in my studio at the house, we can be there for hours, just like doing the most ridiculous things, trying to make it sound better. So being able to take that weight off and give it to someone else, that's kind of nice. Just so at the end of the day, the only thing that we really have to say is, yes, this sounds good. This is what we like. So
this is the part that was missing that we were looking for, things like that.
Yeah. Okay, so you actually do have access to a studio, but you handed it off to a third party to kind of. Okay, because we've had guests on the show before who they basically, you know, they have all the equipment necessary to do that too, and they have basically, you know, they take care of everything themselves. And I was just kind of wondering, because having that third party, like you say, it takes the weight off, and it gives somebody with like an unbiased ear and with the diverse background that that your guy has, he can hear things a little different and be like you said, well, what about this? So you've got somebody who can take something and add and subtract. So obviously that's kind of how you would prefer it, I take it.
Yeah.
What's kind of cool is because all of the initial tracks we record at my place.
Mhm.
And then we put it on Google Drive. That way we can always have access to it and listen and redo it. So from there, we can send the tracks that we've already recorded. We send those over to Alex, and then we go there, record at the studio, and then Alex kind of listens to what we had set, and he tries to make it better. So that's a relief. Because me, when I'm trying to do things at the house, I've got 2 babies running around,
Right.
got a dog.
Right. Oh yeah.
And trying to do that after working all day is just kind of it's stressful enough. And then there's a weight when you're trying to do it like that at home that you're really wanting the best, and sometimes you get so stuck up on the most minute details about something that you could spend hours on something that really someone else can just like press a button and just move on. So
another cool thing about it too is when we do go to the studio and record, we get to pick apart each piece.
Yep.
So we've recorded the demo for the song, we know what we want to do, but now we're actually messing with the song. We actually know each part. We know how this is going to go. It gives more of a feel to it. It's more of an appreciation for not only the song, the craft, the whole 9 yards that come with it. And makes you appreciate it a whole heck of a lot more.
So this is one of the things I wanted to point out too, is like, I kind of know people that don't know, like 10 years is from the Knoxville area, and then you have Whitechapel, of course, from Tennessee. So and you guys, so it's kind of like you can tell. I think that you guys kind of like go in between, because it's kind of like 10 years is a little bit softer than you guys, and then of course Whitechapel's a little more extreme than you guys. So you kind of like slip in the middle there, and you kind of get the best of both of those bands. I think when you listen to you, not saying you guys sound like either one of those bands, because you don't, but I'm just saying you kind of get the middle genre, I guess, of those two. So and I think that tells me a story too, when you said you brought up Breaking Benjamin, and the first thing you said when you brought that up was you liked the melodies from the early era of 2000, and that was one of the first bands that popped in my mind when you said that. So it's kind of ironic that you brought that up right after you said that, because that's actually what I was thinking. I was like, oh, that's two minds thinking alike there, I guess. But
that's what I grew up on, man. It's
that Chevelle and those bands like that were in that era where they could do the ballady type stuff and still hit those hard, that hard sound too. So I'm sorry.
So, speaking of, the Knoxville area, with those 3 bands that Jason talked about, what is the rest of the music scene like out there?
You've got a lot of different music.
You have all kinds of stuff. You have, obviously it's East Tennessee. You're going to have bluegrass, you're going to have country and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot of blues. There's a lot of jazz. I don't think a lot of people realize that, but there's actually quite a bit of that from Mountain City all the way down to Chattanooga. It's all over the place. Your rock bands and stuff that are through here, it's diverse. You got people who have, like the Issues, Woe Is Me type of feel to it. Dance Gavin Dance. You have your people that are very similar to Whitechapel. It's wild, because when I have friends, so I have some friends from California that come down through here, and when they come here, they always think that it's going to be, you go to Dollywood, you hear banjo music and everything else, and it's not. Knoxville actually has a insane hardcore scene. They have an insane metal scene, rock scene. I mean, it's just very diverse. Same thing goes for the Johnson City area. A lot of people would be surprised on the rock and metal aspect of how many bands is out here. And
that was more of what I was referring to. I should have been more specific because I mean I don't doubt there's all sorts of there's a diversity out that way. I didn't know Gavin Dance is from Tennessee.
No bands that are similar to
okay, because I was gonna say holy shit, that's news to me. Okay, all right, but because I'm trying.
What I was trying to say was one of the bands that we play with, a couple of the bands that we play with, like Wise Blood, they're more in the vein of like COC. You know?
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
There is a band called Elderbug they are more in line with say Dance Gavin Dance.
Okay, I got you.
You've got so many different bands. Strange Gods is a band that has came back. They took a little bit of time off and they just started playing shows again. They are phenomenal. You have bands like one band that I don't think is together at this point was Pralia, and they were more like Architects.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got tons of variety of bands, but that's your local scenes, your local levels. You know, that's sometimes it's hard to pull shows because they don't have bigger names attached on the venue, but sometimes the local bands are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to look back because we went, we were in Knoxville at the end of September. We drove out to see Angelus Apatrida. That's a band that we discovered back in February of last year, and they were in Nashville at the beginning of their tour, but we were both out of town. So we drove out to the Brickyard out there. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that venue out there in Knoxville.
Playing there on the 30th.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so there you go. So we drove out there and we got stuck in traffic on I-40. Big shocker, I know, right? So every single one of us in here, I'm sure, knows about traffic on I-40. So we got stuck in traffic at one point on our way to the show, and we made it to the show in time to see the second band on the bill, who was Offensive. They're from Maryland, but there was a local, and I'm trying to look it up because I can't remember the name of the band because I wanted to, I guess I would see if that's a band you guys are familiar with because I cannot. There was a local band who was the fifth band on the bill, and everything. It was September 30th, and I'm trying to fucking look back because I cannot remember the life of me the name that was of the band who opened up because they weren't originally listed on the bill. They were just the bill was the first four bands and then it said local band TBA, and then when we showed up, because I was pissed off that we got stuck in traffic. Obviously everybody gets pissed off about that, and then we missed the one act and I cannot remember. I'm trying to look back.
So this is why actually I talked to one of
what was the date again?
The 30th of September.
Yeah, it was September 30th.
You got Offensive, Hidden Intent, Nervo Chaos.
Yeah, and Angelus Apatrida. Yeah, yes. And then so there was a band that went on before Offensive, and they were from Knoxville, and I cannot find. Oh, it's gonna piss me off. Well, I mean, we don't necessarily have to dwell on that, but I mean, I'm gonna keep looking for it. Damn it, that makes me so mad.
Is it Belfast Six Pack?
No, I don't.
I was telling him I actually met one of the guys that were in that band, and he follows the show. So of course, this would be the day he probably is not nowhere.
Right? Yeah, he'll probably be watching the show like, you don't remember us, huh?
We'll see a message pop up like
it'd just be a big middle finger. Shit. Yeah, that pisses me off. I can't. Yeah, like every time I pull up something like one of the.
How many guys were in the band? Was it a
I
3-piece?
don't remember. I think there was 4. I think there were 4 of them, right?
As far as I know,
we're still getting
I think
used
it was-
to a lot of the Knoxville scene because, we were typically Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. But now, in the last couple of months, we've been playing in Knoxville quite a bit, so we're getting used to all these other bands. We haven't got to play with all of them yet. We played with a couple of the big name ones down there.
okay, all right.
The guy he was like early 20s, so he was probably maybe even younger than Keegan there. So
They were,
real
yeah,
long
they
years,
were.
but yeah. Maybe Quiescent Mantis.
Mantis.
Wait, maybe
I don't know how to say their first name. They're really
Yeah, I
good.
don't either.
We sent Mantis or something like that.
Quiescent Memphis.
Yes. Yeah.
Something like that.
They definitely got the
that actually
name out there. It's
that looks familiar. Jesus, that looks familiar.
It could have been.
Maybe it was.
Yeah, they're a
Could've
very
been.
popular one down in
Maybe it
Knoxville.
was.
We've not got to play with them yet, but I've listened to them, and they're really, really good. Really, really good. And I hear that their shows are crazy.
So how are you
I'm
guys
good.
all-
I'm gonna find that out. I'm gonna
How
find that out.
far do you guys live away from each other? So is it like a music together or?
Probably Daniel, Colby, and I probably live about a 30-minute radius from each other.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Keegan lives probably about an hour away from us. Give or take.
Hour and 10 minutes.
So he's the only one that's got to
be precise.
travel.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's worth it though. It's worth it.
Yeah, they're like, he's young, he can handle it, he can drive.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay, so we always get to this point in an interview with our guests, and this one should be fun because this is the first time where we've had an entire band on.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting because everyone's here to either defend themselves or justify themselves or whatever. So we like to hear about road stories. So whether it's funny, whether it's embarrassing, whether it happened to you, whether it was an overzealous fan, it doesn't matter. We want to hear. Okay. I mean, Jason and Colby are already dying laughing. So
Before they even tell the story,
Kagan's gonna get.
I want to tell you 3 to fuck off. I couldn't help what this lady said about me.
I knew this was gonna work.
The defense rests.
Yeah, I knew this was gonna work.
Who's telling the story? Who's telling the story? Is it Colby? Is Colby going to tell the story?
No, I'll let Jason tell it.
All right.
Father Jason.
It probably should be Jason because as soon as I said road story, he almost couldn't contain himself. He was laughing.
So we had we went to do a podcast in Nashville, and it was the Deliciously Nothing podcast.
I know that one. I know that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
We do that with that one. Thanks to Dana, we know that one. Yep.
Very cool guys, awesome guys. So on the way there, there was actually a traffic accident that happened like this is just a side note, we were all traveling kind of like in a caravan. The cars in between us wrecked. We all swerved. We made it. So it was just an ominous sign that something was going to be fucked up. So there was a comedian that we were playing, and she was pretty lit. She was enjoying herself very much.
Very much.
Very much. So Keegan was playing drums. He had stood up, and his very like 80s style shorts that he was wearing.
She called him Hoochie Daddy short.
Yes. So she started. She wrecked him. It was so bad, and it was on a live podcast. She just told him, man, everything. God, I wish I knew what the time stamp was of when she was talking to Keegan. I would point that out to you guys.
Do you remember the date of the podcast?
Hold on.
It was like
I got
June,
this
wasn't it?
covered here. Hold on.
It was like June. It's like right before my birthday. Right before it. I was like, that's a great birthday gift right there.
Hey, they always say there's no bad publicity, I guess, but
anyways, it was she made a comment. She made an Acorn comment and about Keegan, and it's just
It's
It was
episode
funny as hell.
105, An Evening with Halo Stars.
episode 105.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because I know they have their own YouTube channel. I may have to check it out. And Dana says that she was hitting on you too, Jason.
Oh,
she
God.
was.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
oh. She's
Oh,
in love with Jason.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keegan might have been the acorn, but Jason was the tree she's checking out.
She's just a squirrel trying to get a nut, you know.
Not my nut though. He didn't want my acorn.
Yeah, honestly, she hit on everybody. She it was funny as hell.
Except for Colby. She didn't hit on Colby.
She did not hit on Colby because Colby's fiance was there.
Yep.
So at least she was respectful. So I mean, there's
Exactly.
Or smart.
that. Oh yeah.
It was funny as hell though. But after she completely dissed Keegan on live air, we all went and hung out at Hooters and had a fun time. But it was funny as hell. If you can pull up that interview, I think it's about midway through.
Yep.
Yeah, just watch it. You'll both laugh your ass off.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna remember episode 105.
I'll have a bad day. I go and watch that video.
And Kegan never wants to hear about it again, I'm sure.
Dude, it doesn't matter what I do or say. It'll live with me for the rest of my life, 100%.
Well, if it's on YouTube, the internet is undefeated.
Oh
fuck's
yeah.
sake. So-
Yep. Oh yeah.
It's funny as hell.
All right, so Daniel, you didn't chime in with anything there, so
I was going to ask Daniel if he ever
that's-
gets
that's-
chime in.
No, it's hard to. No, that's probably the funniest. That's probably the funniest story I could think of. I mean,
fair enough.
yeah. I mean, there's nothing really tops that one. I mean, and you can watch it online. So
Over
There you
and over.
poor
It's
Keegan.
there forever.
Somebody's getting some.
Yeah, the Dana, that's somebody's phone, I think. But Dana's like, "What the hell is that loud ding we keep hearing on your end?" It's somebody's phone, so I think it's
Kobe.
Facebook.
It's work.
It's somebody's Facebook Messenger, I believe. So
I think it's my computer. So my phone is actually, whenever my MacBook is up, it will. If I get a text message or something, it will go up on you.
yeah, it's not the biggest deal. We get background noise all the time. So
Yeah, we don't give a shit. We're used to background noise.
yeah, not that big. Dana's just being nitpicky.
Yeah.
He would never do that.
Yeah, no. So Cody, like when you do the vocals, is it hard to go between the cleans and screams, or is it just natural to you at this point? Or
If a good vocal warm up's done properly, which, like I said, I'm still new to the whole vocal thing, so I learn new stuff every single day. If I'm straight up screaming and it's just nonstop screaming, I can go on and go on and go on. Now, when you transition from the screaming to the clean vocals, where it gets a little tricky because you're using every muscle in your body, and then you're like, okay, it's time to sound like a mixture of Fergie and Jesus now. So, it's hard. But like if we're in the studio, when it comes to doing the clean vocals, yeah, I could do that all day long. It takes a lot of practice. Another thing too is when you're up on stage and you're doing this, you have an adrenaline rush. So you gotta have that extra umph and push So it just takes a lot of practice. I'm still learning. I'm not the best vocalist, but I learn every day and practice.
So you're more than just you're more than just a guy who sings in his car in traffic like the rest of us, huh?
Anyways,
he likes to rap too.
yo, man, yo. Get up and punch, Kagan.
The reason
right now, bro.
The reason I brought that up, the first guest we had on the show was John O'Connor from a band called One of the Last. I get their bass player to kind of do some backing vocals a lot because he'll get on stage and be like, "Oh shit, am I supposed to scream or clean right here?" so
that's one of the things that we're working on. We're constantly trying to make our stage shows even better. So like when we're in the studio, I do all the the harmonies with the main vocals, but from where we're getting everything pieced together, recorded, and like we were talking about earlier, making sure everything's right where it needs to be, so we're knowing which harmonies we want to go. And since we figured that out, we're going to be adding that to the stage show.
Yeah, cool.
So,
and,
from either Jason or Daniel or both.
Definitely not me.
So talking about stage shows, I see you guys posted where you have a big one coming up next year. We're going to open up for Cold. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're going to be one of the opening bands for Cold. That's pretty awesome. That's one band that honestly we all listen to and have listened to. One of my early bands that I was with actually did a acoustic cover of End of the World. So that's actually pretty cool that we're going to get to open for them. For me, I dig it.
That is very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed. Like, I guess they're doing like a reunion type.
Yeah,
they're
for year
the anniversary of one of their albums.
Yeah.
Year of the Spider. Is that the one?
Year of the anniversary. Yep. Year of the Spider. Yeah. Yeah. I think take a look real quick. I actually think they announced that over the lat, because I remember hearing about it. When the hell did they announce that?
It's just been within the past few days, I think.
Yeah, there it is. Oh shit, I don't remember what day it was, but it's been. I know it's been over the last couple of weeks because I actually have it here for the. For the Hit in the Road segment. So yeah, it is on here.
Yeah, they had a lot of like big news leading up to the. They couldn't wait till next week so we could lie and say we helped them, but.
We got some more stuff that's going to be coming out throughout next year. Now, for you all, we can go ahead and say this: we are getting the dates ready for Nashville. We will be in Nashville probably in the next 2 months or so. From what I understand is we are going to be going to the Cobra.
Yeah, so come
awesome.
hang out with us. We're going to throw down.
Definitely. Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Count on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Looking forward to it.
We reached out to Dana about that too, so hopefully he'll be at that show as well.
Oh,
I'm sure he will.
I was about to say Dana's probably already there.
And then another one in Nashville. We're going to try to hit up is I know for sure the Cobra. We're just making sure that the dates are confirmed and everything lines up with our schedule because there's a couple dates from what I understand. And then the 404 Bar and Grill. We've heard a lot of good things about that place, and we want to go and rage there.
Okay. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing about the two venues you just mentioned. Is those are two venues I've never been to. I don't know about Chris, but I've never been to.
Nor I.
So and I always look for that too when I'm looking for places to go see bands. It's like, oh, well, I've never been to that venue either, so that's going to be cool. Kind of see them in a different setting, or just like last night we seen Machine Head at a whole east side in Madison.
Yeah, the back of a bowling alley. Yeah.
So I'd never been there, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, so the venues mean a lot too. Like I always like, I always look around to see like the setups for venues and stuff like that. So Dana said the 404 is very small. I'm like,
small shows are the best shows.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we seen Machine Head a couple of years ago at Exit Inn, believe it or not. And I'm just like, man, this place is like assholes to elbows. Because
I always wanted to play was Exit Inn.
Yeah, we were fucking sardined in there.
Yeah.
But it was.
They undershot the audience a little bit, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. But it is still a very cool venue.
Yeah,
that's what's great about Nashville. I mean, obviously I've only, you guys could probably speak to this more than us because we were talking about the scene, the music scene in Knoxville a little while ago. So I mean, the Brickyard is just a teeny tiny little place in a strip mall.
Mm-hmm.
And then other than that, I really don't have any experience with any other venues there. But that's what's so great about Nashville is, I mean, you have so many. I mean, Brooklyn Bowl, Eastside Bowl, Exit Inn, Marathon Music Works, and then you're talking about the Cobra, which I haven't been to, 404, which I haven't been to. And then there's a place that keeps showing up on our Hitting the Road segment called Dark Matter. I've never been there. So I mean, there is a shitload of places to play music in Nashville. It is insane. Oh, Dana's working on our podcast. He wants to know if you guys want to play his 50th birthday in November.
Let's do it.
There you go, Dana. There you go, Dana. It's done.
Depends on the day. If I'm not mistaken, I have a wedding in November, as in my own.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely can't miss that one.
No, I'll be killed. There won't be no more Halo Scars after that.
I think we got so caught up. I was going to ask where the name Halo Scars actually came up from. So,
I was actually, like I said, in the band I was doing previously. I was writing songs, and that I was writing songs for this, and so I just started kind of brainstorming things that I liked, things that stuck, and I was kind of like circling around like Halo Rust, Halo was always kind of like a portion of it, and I work the medical field anyways.
Yeah, okay.
So Halo Scars I thought was kind of cool, and I was like, that even just sounds kind of like it fits this, so let's go for it. So that was it.
It's definitely a pretty cool name, I think. So.
Oh yeah, and I dig the artwork on. I know you guys are fixing it, but I dig the artwork on the website too.
Yeah, that was going to be kind of the next question. So it was. We lost Keegan again.
I think he had to hop off and head towards work.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
we appreciate him taking his time before work and jump.
Oh, we definitely, we definitely understand. I thought maybe he got grounded or something. Dana says he's an ordained minister, so
there we go.
So
of course, because of course he is. Of course he is. He's a truck driver, he's a promoter, he's a minister, he's an ordained minister. He is. He's got it all. He's got it all down. Oh yeah, Keegan sent a private message. He said, just want to say thanks for having us. It's an honor. Got to get ready for work, so I hope to see y'all in Nashville in a couple months. We'll be there. We will be there. Whether it's at the Cobra or 404. Yeah, we'll be there.
Yeah,
we will absolutely be there. And Victor, you brought the Basement East. Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one too. Yep. And,
I'd like to play the Basement East. That's
I was about to say, Daniel, you just turned sideways, buddy. Yeah, he just did a 90 degrees on us. So. Oh,
he's going to play bass in the round. So.
Yeah.
But so who came up with like the logos and stuff that we see on your Facebook pages and stuff? So I thought that's pretty cool too.
Oh, the artwork's amazing.
Yeah.
I come up with I come up with a lot of the pieces. Some of the things are getting reworked. There is a friend of ours named Dakota Kirk that helps out with a lot of the artwork. So I just kind of keep him up with some ideas, and we will kind of like just mesh patterns together until it kind of flows and we agree. And the initial drummer that we had, he was really into previous military experience, so he really respected sort of different throughout history, different eras of war and things like that is things that he respected. And so he liked a lot of Nordic images and things like that. And so he was pretty responsible for just those. He was a staff sergeant previously in the Army, so I just, I tried to include things like that he liked into the imagery. Just simple respect for a friend, So that's kind of the route that how it started evolving.
Cool.
Well, he definitely, I mean, he definitely took your input and your idea and did it justice for sure. And we've talked about this on the show ad nauseum. I mean, I don't know how many times we brought it up, but I mean, as far as like artwork and album covers and stuff like that, Jason and I are of the opinion that I don't think any other genre holds a candle to like the artwork in the heavy metal genre. It's I think it's like light years ahead of any other genre. So I mean, it's just another example. Your guys's artwork is just another example of that. We're of the opinion that just no other genre can really even compete with it. And what helps is when you have an artist like that you can rely on, that you can trust, who can mold an idea, and like you say, has the utmost respect for it, and then just puts out something quality like that. So it's just another aspect of everything coming together. And I'm sure it means a lot to have somebody that you can rely on like that.
It does. I mean, if it was me, it would just be stick figures.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah. I thankfully like my wife, God love her. I mean, she's a fantastic artist. So, I mean, if there's between my wife and my daughter, I mean, we've got the art thing taken care of in this house. Cause I mean, I can barely draw a breath, so I mean, so it's ridiculous.
Did he do the artwork for the EP as well, or
Dakota did the artwork for the EP. We worked with that, kind of passing ideas back and forth for a couple months, and he sent I want to say he sent 7 or 8 different options,
something like that,
and we just started building more and more with what's on there now, refining colors, refining the images, refining, making sure that we had the some of the symbols in place and things like that. And it turned out, I mean, in my opinion, I think it turned out pretty awesome. So
yeah,
ours too. Yep.
I guess Daniel had to jet too, so
yeah, he kind of
Where Daniel lives, he has horrible internet connection,
Really?
so he might have just lost it completely.
He had frozen for a little bit, and I guess he just decided to pack it in. So
it's fine. So.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, like I say, we know all about the technical difficulties and everything like that. So the fact that all you guys were able to come on is awesome, because you guys aren't 15 hours ahead like
right.
You guys, like one of our last guests, they were literally on a completely different day than us when we interviewed them. So I mean, but you guys are still in the Eastern time zone, so you guys are still an hour ahead of us. So
I think it's pretty wild. Like we started this thing. We wanted bringing bands on because we wanted to make sure we had a little bit of a following so that we could pass that on to enough people to kind of get them to pass on. You know what I'm saying? So then they can pass it. Then they can pass it. Then next thing you know, you've got a couple thousand new fans, which is great. So that's kind of we wanted to wait till we had that build up. So this year we've kind of gotten to where we were. Beginning of the year, we were getting 6 figures on the show, and I'm like, oh, well, this is time to start, trying to bring some people on and stuff like that. So we've kind of like went worldwide because we haven't really did a lot in the States. I think we've only did like this maybe the 4th band that we did in the States, and like so most of it's been Germany and Switzerland and Sweden. So we kind of like made a joke, and actually I think I'm going to make T-shirts now from the joke that we were on our world tour. Because we've been, and I think it's fitting that you guys are the last band that we're interviewing this year because of the holidays coming up.
Yep, we're bringing it home.
I don't know. Speaking of T-shirts, I think that this is going to be the next one that we're going to do since Kegan's off here. I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Just so you guys know, you probably told the wrong people that story. So if we do see you, I'm probably going to have
I'm going
to have 2 acorns in my pocket when I see him. And here you
go. Please.
That is awesome.
Yeah, the messed up thing is you guys
be like, hey, can you?
Yeah, you guys will be in Nashville in the winter, so it would be too cold to wear shorts. So
true.
I don't know. He wears shorts about
every show.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying we would show up in the same kind of shorts that he wore and got shit for. So,
yeah, true.
That'd be great.
Like some fuzzy fuzzy dice or something hanging out the bottom, something like that.
Johnny Knoxville's like.
Yeah. Like
from the bad grandpa thing.
Bad grandpa thing. Hell yeah.
Hanging out in his underwear or whatever.
Yeah. There you go. That would be perfect. All right. So I mean, since we're on the geez, you guys really should make that shirt.
Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
Oh, it's fucking too good.
But I did thought it was kind of ironic for us to go like full circle and kind of end in the same state, which is kind of
right.
I didn't really really think about that. We're actually ended in Tennessee, which is kind of crazy. But
very true. So since the website is kind of a work in progress right now as far as the refresh goes, where can people find the merch? Is it still at the website as it currently sits, or is there like Bandcamp? Is there
pretty much one thing we always post everything out on social media. So Facebook is one of the biggest ways that we push information out, as well as Instagram. So anytime that somebody wants something, really just message us. We've got the band email on there. We've got WhatsApp. We've got you're available to contact us in any ways. And we make it as easy as we possibly can. If somebody wants something, we send them sizes, we send them images, we send them whatever they want. And then as long as if that's what they want, we mail it, we do it.
Is the designs, are they on the website?
Some of the designs are on Marketplace, on Facebook. I think most of the shirts have been on Facebook, I think. So
yeah, we have all of the designs up on Facebook, which here soon I'm going to be posting a whole other thing on there. Like I said, we've been revamping everything, getting a bunch of stuff ready. We finally just got everything situated because we had merch and then we sold out of a lot of merch. Yeah. And so with everything being on back order and junk, we finally got everything in, even got a new design in as well. It's
nice.
Yeah. So
here's a shirt. Here's a shirt you can buy.
Hey,
Yep. There's a shirt you can buy.
Yes.
Jason looks really good in it.
I do.
I was about to say that's an uncanny resemblance.
That's the Millen version.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that is a badass
to sell out merch. So,
yep. That is one of our friends, and she's been she promoted us in different places, and that was pretty awesome. And so when the option, when we had some female shirts that we finally got in stock, we asked to see if she would model one of them to push it out, and she's like, "Yeah, give it to me." And I was like, "Here you go."
There you go. That was very cool of her to do that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to Amy.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is I think it's cool that you guys are able to shout out the guy that did the artwork and the people that are have followed you, and you get a shout out to Dana for helping you guys, and I think that's really cool because I think at some point in a lot of the process, a lot of bands forget kind of where they come from sometimes, and I haven't really felt that way from anybody we've interviewed though, which is kind of cool.
Either.
I kind of feel like that everybody that we've talked to is kind of know where they're at and who's helped them get where they are. So it's pretty cool to and then we've had people say, "Hey, if we get big, we're taking you with us," because we kind of helped them boost their people, so and their client and their fan base, so which is cool. So I'm always glad to hear that.
And Dana says, and Krista. So
yeah,
absolutely.
and Krista, yeah,
Dana
yeah.
and Krista both. They're one hell of a team. I mean, we haven't really aside from the show out there in Lewisburg, we haven't done a whole lot of work together with them, but we do know from what we've you're just talking to them, just hanging out, and then so we know what kind of a team that they are, and so we definitely know that you guys know. So absolutely props to both of them. So
thanks, guys.
And we don't want to keep you guys like all day. I know you said you got a little.
Oh yeah.
Just go out and enjoy the Saturday afternoons.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys.
I don't know how it is there, but it's not here. But
yeah, it's gloomy here. But so before you guys go, let everybody know what your socials are. So
we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. You can find all of our music on all major streaming platforms. You can find us at haloscars.com.
Mm-hmm.
That website is it's being remodeled, so bear with us.
Yeah.
But if you really want to keep up to date on everything, our Facebook is the number one. And then with our TikToks, we just kind of post videos of some of our live performances and some of the cool moments on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we're gonna. I highly suggest keeping an eye out on the page because we announced the Cold show. We have multiple others that's going to be coming throughout the year as well.
And I'm gonna urge everybody that if you go and you listen to the streaming service, if you listen to the EP there and you like it, reach out to those guys and get a hard copy.
Absolutely.
That's how these guys are able to move around and do it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully within January, end of January, 1st February, just as long as everything goes good with the mixing, mastering, we get what we want, we'll have a new single coming out, and eager for y'all to hear it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely share that on all of our socials as well.
We'll share that when it drops. Any information on any tour dates, whether albeit local or whatever it is, anything we hear, we'll pass that along to everybody as well. Absolutely. So
awesome.
So yeah, we want to thank Colby, Jason, and we want to thank Daniel and Keegan for coming on the show today. So yep, check out Halo Scars. Find them on the internet. Go to YouTube and see Keegan get embarrassed. Go look at that. And
if you like what you hear, go check them out live. So
absolutely, they will be coming to a city near us in the not too distant future. So we're looking forward to that. So
we'll be blasting all over social media.
Hell yeah, and we will too.
We will too. Yeah,
right on.
Hell yeah. All right, thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you guys soon. We hope to see you guys sooner than we talk to you. So
yeah,
we'll see y'all in a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you guys. We appreciate you. All right. All right. Halo Scars, everybody. There we go.
awesome.
Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yeah. Full circle, man. We went full circle.
Mm-hmm. We did, really. I mean, like you say, when you think about it.
I didn't think about it. I think we were there the day before, and I was thinking about it because I was talking about doing those shirts, and I was like, oh, you know, so.
Yeah, you kind of are having your internet is having kind of a rough day today, bud. Of course, it could be mine. I could be having issues too, and I just don't know it. So sometimes I don't find out about my issues until my Wi-Fi just dies completely. So Dana, thanks for coming by, buddy. We appreciate you. Tell Krista we said hey too.
Yeah, it is.
What's that?
So it looks like Wi-Fi.
Yours or mine? Because I'm still having an issue with on my end. It still looks like you're cutting out. I don't know if I'm cutting out on your end or not. Like I say, I'm not even 100% sure. So. Because for all I know, my Wi-Fi could be fucking up. I don't know. So you'll have to tell me. So.
No, it's me. So.
Oh, okay. If it's not one thing, it's another, isn't it? So.
Which I think is because I did it.
Like once the show, yeah, like you said, once the show started, yeah, maybe.
And then again, you never know what's going on. Somebody could have hit up. So.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, hell, we had that happen not too long ago.
Yeah.
So that's true. It absolutely could have happened.
Or somebody's out here getting.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, great interview with those guys. Again, just another example of a bunch of down to earth guys getting together, making quality music. So you can't beat it, man. They're doing a great job. They're doing what they love, and we're just trying to do our part to make sure everybody else knows it.
No.
So.
Yeah, definitely a great band. I actually like the EP. Of course, with us doing our end of year again, but
yeah. All right, so I guess we will get into the regular show.
Hold on a second, man.
You're gonna try to make some adjustments here. Well, I mean, even if you need to, even if it helps to drop out and then come back in, like Kegan did. I mean,
I don't fucking know what's going on, but
because, like I say, I can do one or two news stories if you need to back out, but I don't. I figure we probably
Am I good? Am I good now?
So far, so good.
Okay, so hopefully I'm. So I went back to the original, so because I feel like that's what's happening. Because I haven't went back to it. I've been just trying to get the other one to work. So
okay, all right.
So I'll just go back to the original and say fuck it. But
yeah, so far it seems to be okay.
All right, so we'll carry on then. Apologize for all that. That's, yeah, I guess that's why a lot of people do the editing. I guess, but
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But oh well.
I still prefer it with like this. I still prefer it.
Well, I mean, like we said, we both work, so we don't have hours to go through tape and try to edit shit out. So.
Well, yeah, I mean that is true, but I still think
once we get to where we may be doing this full time, then maybe. But but right now it's not.
I don't know.
Not an option.
I don't know.
I still like the. I like all of the lives.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll cross that bridge if and when we come to it. But I still kind of like the organic nature of just off the cuff as it goes. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we can go back into our regularly scheduled programming.
Right.
I guess we can kick off with some birthdays. So this stuff from December 4th through the 10th. December 4th, we had Mina Caputo, vocalist of Life of Agony. December 5th, we had Bobby Barth, vocalist and guitarist of Axe. Jack Russell, vocalist of Great White. December 6th, of course, was Randy Rose's birthday, guitarist for Quiet Riot and Ozzy. And of course, I don't know the story there. He unfortunately passed away in 1982 to a dumbass reason. So
very dumbass reason.
And then December 7th, we had Nita Strauss, guitarist for, of course, Alice Cooper, and of course, doing a lot of solo stuff these days. We had Chris Martin.
Everyone knows that Nita Strauss's claim to fame is that she's the in-house guitarist for the LA Rams. Everybody knows that.
Right. And then, that's her claim to fame. Yeah,
that's her claim to fame. Yeah,
Chris. And then we had Chris Martin's. Chris Martin's, or as we learned to know him as the world's largest gnome.
Right.
Gnome, from the drummer for Spillage.
Yep.
Then we had December 8th, Phil Collins, guitarist for Def Leppard. And let me just say this. When I hope I'm in the fucking shape Phil Collins is in, have you seen this guy? Like, he's ripped, dude.
He's jacked, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. 65 years old. What's better than I do? Like, what the fuck? Then we had, of course, Marty Friedman, former guitarist for Megadeth. Then we had Corey Taylor, of course, vocalist for Slipknot and Stone Sour. Of course, not so much Stone Sour anymore, but Nope. We had December 9th, we had Bill Church, bassist for Van Morrison and Sammy Hagar. We had Dennis Dunaway, bassist for Alice Cooper. And we have Paul Landers, guitarist for Rammstein. Michael Foster, drummer for Firehouse. And then December 10th, which is today, we had Wolf Hoffman, guitarist for Accept. And then we had Nikki Sixx, bassist for Motley Crue and 6AM.
Wow.
So that was the birthday list this week. So happy birthday to all of those. And if we missed anybody, happy birthday to you as well. And then, of course, like always, if anybody out there listening had a birthday this week, happy birthday.
Absolutely. A lot of big names on the list this week.
Yes,
right.
It was.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. All right, so how are we going to start with our current events this week? Let's see. Well, the good news is we don't have any passings to tell you about. So I would say that's definitely a good thing where we don't have to do that. So, all right, well, let's do this. All right, over at theprp.com, leading off this week, Gothic alternative metal outfit Evanescence have hit a major milestone with their 2003 debut album Fallen. The effort has newly been certified Diamond, which is 10 times platinum by the RIAA for sales and streaming performance in the United States. That record had last been certified as 7 times platinum in June of 2008. This latest certification was officially announced by the RIAA on November 30th of this year, so about a week and a half ago. A major breakthrough for the band. Fallen went on to lay the foundation for the band's career, spawning several hit singles, including the 3X multi-platinum Bring Me to Life and the platinum certified My Immortal. So congratulations to them. I mean, Diamond is, you can't get any higher than that, in the RIAA. So, and
right.
There aren't, there are albums out there that have hit Diamond, but it's not exactly the longest list. So to be able to pull that off is something pretty extraordinary. So, and it's always nice when a metal band does it. So,
right. Yeah. All right, I got a short story here to kick off from Metal Injection. There have been plenty of stories lately of people getting on stage and being total jerks. And then there's Slipknot's percussionist Michael Tortilla Man Pfaff, that was actually in the band and was mistaken for a stage crasher. The incident happened at a show in Mexico when Pfaff was briefly detained by security after being mistaken as part of the crowd trying to get on stage, which seems weird given Pfaff is dressed like the other dudes on stage, but whatever. At least they're doing their job, I guess. Fellow percussionist Sean Clown Crahan eventually comes over to see Pfaff free, and the show goes on. As for the perspective on things, Pfaff commented on the video saying, "I'm not mad. Security's doing their job. I'm just trying to get to the maggots that couldn't see me." So it's pretty wild. I mean, if you're doing security, you should know who you're protecting, I guess. But that's kind of...
Well, that is true, but at the same time, I mean, in the considering that we've had like the Dave Chappelle incident,
right? True.
I mean, I guess better safe than sorry. I mean, it didn't take long for like because you say Clown came over, like, no, that's one of us, he's cool. So better that than to be like, he looks like, and then him get up on stage and then we have something unfortunate,
right?
So so better safe than sorry. So, but it is kind of funny though, because because I actually saw that story, and then like the outfit he's got on is like this pretty. It is a pretty distinct outfit, but like you say, you're never really gonna fault a security guard for doing their job and doing it well. So, but it does make for a funny story. So, all right, let's see, where are we going next?
Oh, you got a bunch of them. So.
I do, but thankfully none of them are super duper long, so that's nice. So let's go over to Blabbermouth. California metalers Devil Driver have parted ways with drummer Austin Demond and have replaced him with Davier Perez. Devil Driver said in a statement, quote, "Uplifting news here. Always sad to part with a brother, but in this case, we could not be more proud. Austin Demond has been offered a very lucrative spot at his sobriety clinic to head up the program, helping to get people sober, and we are very proud of the steps he's taken in his own life to get sober and also to help others with their struggles," end quote. Devil Driver frontman Des Fafara said, quote, "Working with Austin was fun, but I'm very glad for the next chapter of his life where he will be helping people. Sad to see him go, but as he steps away from touring, he's bettering his life and the lives of others. So Austin, we salute you," end quote. Austin adds, quote, "I'm very grateful for my time playing for Devil Driver, and the experience was priceless. These friendships will last forever, and I have nothing but love for all my brothers. I wish them many more years of giving the fans the most necessary shred," end quote. Demond joined Devil Driver in 2015 as the replacement for original drummer John Bachlan. Regarding Davier joining Devil Driver, Des says, quote, "Once I saw him play, I asked around and spoke with him and heard his excitement as well as his long-term commitment level. I knew he was our guy," end quote. Perez comments, quote, "To say that I'm honored to be part of the Devil Driver family is an understatement," end quote. Man of a few words. This past July, Devil Driver announced the return of original bassist John Miller after more than a decade-long absence from the scene. In addition to epic reunion, Devil Driver added guitarist Alex Lee of Holy Grail to the lineup, replacing Neil Tiemann. So, a little bit of a fluid lineup there going on for Devil Driver, but
so we may get a different sounding Devil Driver coming up. So.
We might, but with Des Fafara at the helm, it's still gonna be. I mean, the intensity and the ferocity of Devil Driver is still gonna be there. But if the last album is any indication, when the track "Wishing" came out, there's a little bit of room for flexibility there. So, you never know.
That was definitely pleasantly surprising. So
it absolutely was. So interesting to see where Devil Driver goes. I'm actually surprised it's taken, because I was
actually glad to see that in the news, because I was kind of worried with
what? Go ahead.
Oh, I was saying you were. I don't know who was cutting out, but you were on my end, but it could have been me on your end.
I'm sorry. But I was just about to say, man, we got to do something about our internet. I was going to say that it's actually kind of surprising with the amount of music that Devil Driver puts out. I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't heard a follow up to the last album yet, because it doesn't seem Des Fafara is not one to like, rest on his laurels and, take too much time off. Of course,
Right.
We do know that his wife had some medical problems too. So
and he's doing the reunion too. So
that's true. That's true. I forgot about that. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but you're right. That could be, could be part of it. Yeah.
Because I don't know if they even toured on Waking the Demons. Or...
I don't remember if they did or not, because they had to drop off that one tour because of Dez's wife had her medical issue. So I don't know. I can't remember if they officially did tour on that album, to be completely honest with you. I have to go back and look.
I don't think they did. If they did, they didn't do much. So.
Right. I don't know. We may have to look into that, but but with this new lineup, we may see some stuff from them pretty soon.
All right. My next one is over from Metal Injection. In a recent interview with Killer Guitar Rigs, Ola England chatted a little bit about how the music industry has evolved in the last decade. England achieved his success with the Haunted as well as Feared, and has also become a prominent YouTuber over the years. Long story short, he's become a valued voice in the world of metal and guitar. About how the industry has changed, England began to say, I can probably not answer this question because during the 90s and 2000s, it wasn't really in the music industry or in the music biz. Sure, I had bands, and the bands that I had, we tried to get a record deal. That was the thing about the late 90s and early 2000s was that, the point of playing in a band, obviously we loved playing in a band, but to exceed to the next level, we wanted to be signed by a record label. But England also noted that playing was his true fix and not necessarily turning pro. We did our demos and we played our shows in England's earlier groups, and all that, he said. And then eventually we got a record deal and we did an album, but it sucked ass. Not the album, but when the whole process sucked ass. And that's when I decided to start my own thing and do Feared and, go back to the basics of why I made music in the first place, and it's to have fun. So eventually that was when I started the YouTube as well. All of that kind of kicked off, and now I'm in the Haunted, which is under a record deal and a record label. It's changed a lot. One thing that England certainly believes has changed is just the pure pace in which we're now able to communicate. 10 years ago, or like 5 or 10 years ago, when I was out doing clinics and stuff, talking a lot about very active social media and stuff like that, but it's become less important and maybe gone back a little bit, but just having the raw talent and actually making kick-ass music, this is important now because people are sick and tired of social media. So I can't say that I can properly answer the question, but I can give it a try. And it's been weird, but seeing this and how it's changed so fast, it's been really fast. So yeah, I hope you got something out of that answer at least. So I'm not sure you got much out of my answer because I think it was going in and out again, but
yeah. We're sorry about this, guys. I mean, obviously we don't want to have stuff like this happen during the live stream, but we're trying to work through it the best we can. So it's probably frustrating for you guys who are listening or watching. It's like, what the hell is he saying? So yeah, we get it. Yeah, we get it. So we get it.
Well, the good thing is everybody on the radio is probably hearing it. So
there is that. There is that. All right, going over to Metal Injection for a minute. Does Tool's The Pot or Dream Theater's Panic Attack have more streams than the other song? What about Living After Midnight by Judas Priest or Overkill by Motorhead? These are the questions you're going to have to answer when working through Gareth Evans' new metal version of Statagories. Quote, the way people consume music has changed so much during my lifetime, with Spotify being the way that most people enjoy listening to music these days. I wanted to make something fun out of the song stats and the platform as a way of entertaining people about people's listening habits and surprise people about certain songs' popularity. The Spotify game mode is one of the most stupid pop-up ads. The Spotify game mode is one of the most popular game modes on Statagories, and I have created the new metal category mainly so my father-in-law has a game mode he can enjoy. I'm looking forward to hearing the highest score he and the entire metal music community can score, end quote. So basically what it is, and it's not just metal centric, but there's been a new category added for our genre where there are two songs that go head to head, and you have to choose which one has more streams on Spotify, and then your score is based on that. So it's called Statagories, Stattogories. So that's the name of the game. So it seems kind of interesting. I may check it out if I get some time. But if you want to test your metal knowledge as far as Spotify goes anyway. So there you go. It might be something worth at least checking out while you're on the toilet taking a shit. I'm not sure that's what he designed the game for, but there you go.
Yeah, it could be worse ways to play it, I guess.
Definitely.
The last story I had was kind of something we've been talking about. It was over from Loudwire. And hopefully we'll get through the.
No, you just froze again.
So never mind that. Oh my god, I have no idea what's going on. Like it's not the internet, which is crazy. So I don't know what the fuck is happening.
I don't know.
I'll try to get through this then. Still hear me, right?
Well, it's
kind
off
of sort
of. Yeah, it's off and on.
I'm gonna kind of so see if that doesn't.
All right, I'll tell you what I'll do. I got a couple stories that kind of play off each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read those real quick. Going back over to Metal Injection, Texas death metal band Malignant Altar appears to have broken up. The band is currently listed as inactive on Metal Archives. Their Instagram is now deleted, and Twitter is generally not thrilled, which neither am I personally, because man, Malignant Altar was fucking good. That's the opinion of the author. Full disclosure, I have not heard of Malignant Altar, but if there are any fans out there, they deserve to know. Malignant Altar has not issued a statement yet, but their final output so far is the upcoming Gasudar split due out December 16th. Malignant Altar existed between 2018 and 2022, and I very strongly encourage you all to listen to their now only full-length album, Realms of Exquisite Morbidity. I remember when that album came out, actually. It's incredible, and it really seemed like the band had a spot in the upper echelon of modern death metal. So this is going to be one of those things where I'll kind of keep an eye on it, so because since nothing has officially come out about it, I would be interested to see if and when something does and what the reasonings might be. I mean, because you never really know if it's just because we just talked about Devil Driver's, current drummer moving on to do something in his personal life. So we'll see how that goes. But it always sucks when a band breaks up, no matter what the reasons. So if I hear something official, I'll pass it on to you guys. But so there we are for that. And then I guess not to be outdone, who knows, moving over to the PRP.com, it would appear that Bless the Fall have either quietly called it a day or are partaking in a promotional stunt. A fan recently pointed out on Twitter that much of the group's long dormant social media has been deleted of content. Furthermore, individual members of the band have also removed references to the group on their respective social media profiles. Thus far, the group doesn't appear to have publicly commented on the matter. They last performed live in 2019 on what currently stands as their final album, 2018's Hard Feelings. So a couple of questionable breakups or hiatuses, whatever you want to call it. So some interesting things happening with a couple of bands, I guess. Not really sure why or when, but like I say, I'll keep my eyes and ears open and kind of see what happens. And then something that I had last week, but I kind of held on to it because it wasn't like super duper time sensitive. This is over at killerguitarrigs.com, something that showed up on one of my Facebook news feeds that I thought was kind of funny. Just how it came about. You guys will hear it in just a second. Jackson Guitars have announced a brand new instrument, a signature model for Death Angel's Rob Cavestany. This guitar, which is part of the Signature Pro series, features an entirely new original design that Rob came up with all the way back in the 1980s. As Music Radar reminded us a couple of years ago, Cavestany said, quote, "I drew it on the napkin and thought one day it would be amazing to get a guitar like this, custom made that way," end quote. And now, after some time of having it as an exclusive for the Death Angel guitarist, Jackson brings it as a production model and his Rob's signature guitar. In a new promotional material for Jackson, Cavestany said, quote, "The reason I wanted a Jackson guitar was because my guitar hero, Randy Rhoads, played a Jackson guitar. That's a good enough reason for me. The Jackson Custom Shop built my dream machine and invented a brand new shape based on..." Hello. What'd you have to do? Were you not holding your mouth right or something?
Oh, the browser actually had an update or some bullshit. That's what's going on, I guess. So, like, I was looking at the communication and it said, "Oh, your browser's not working properly because you don't have the latest version." I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay. All right.
So hopefully that's what it was. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I finished up a couple of my other stories while you were out during that. There's a couple of bands that have apparently called it quits, but there haven't been any formal announcements. You got Malignant Altar and Bless the Fall, who have kind of broken up, maybe kind of sort of, but we don't know because they haven't said anything official. So
I know Bless the Fall, like all the members took that Bless the Fall off their tags and stuff. So
yeah, and like Malignant Altar, like all of their stuff is like deleted, and on Encyclopedia Metallum they're listed as inactive. So
there you go.
Yeah, but neither band has come out and like made an official statement. So it's kind of one of those things where we think they are, but we don't know that they are. So. And then right now I'm in the middle of reading an article from guitarrigs.com about Rob Cavestany's brand new Jackson guitar that he designed on a napkin way back in the 80s. So
wow.
Yeah. So, quote, the reason I wanted a Jackson guitar was because my guitar hero Randy Rhoads played a Jackson guitar. The Jackson Custom Shop built my dream machine and invented a brand new shape based on my crazy designs. I can't wait to see what shredders everywhere do when they have a Death Angel in their hands, end quote. I've always... Well, I'm sorry, that's not the end of the quote. It was broken up by another one of those fucking embedded ads. I've always loved the look of pointy guitars. Two of my favorites, Eddie Van Halen and Akira Takasaki, played star body shapes, but the high frets were hard to access. I used the devil horn shape of guitar that Angus Young and Tony Iommi played to replace the extended wing of the star body. Then I used the curve at the bottom of a Randy Rhoads guitar, which looked like a shark's fin. It's comfy to play sitting down. Meanwhile, you can get into all kinds of positions with it when rocking live. And if you've never seen Rob Cavestany play guitar, you know what he's talking about, because he doesn't exactly just stand there and play the guitar. So, this fine guitar comes with some pretty interesting features apart from the looks. That is, the lightweight Nyato body combines these aesthetic traits with ergonomic qualities, including the deep cutaway for accessing higher frets. Its male neck, which forms a set-in construction with the body, includes a rosewood fingerboard with a compound radius from 12 to 16 inches. There's a total of 24 jumbo-sized frets and shark fin inlays. The instrument scale length is the common 25.5 inches. So, and then let me do this for the sake of saving everybody time and effort.
You said about Tommy. I'm sorry. I thought it was
there's the guitar right there, which is pretty fucking slick looking. If you haven't seen
like
it,
that.
that's pretty fucking badass. So there you go.
Yeah.
So that is actually that's actually all my current events news for this week. So
well, I got that quick story, and then I got the one that I wanted to kind of go into a little bit, but
cool.
Over at Blabbermouth, the family of Ozzy Osbourne's lead guitarist Randy Rhoads has collaborated with Dunlop, a manufacturer of musical accessories, on a new Randy Rhoads Distortion Plus pedal to be released in 2023. The news of a new Rhoads pedal was shared by Randy's sister, Kathy Rhoads, D'Argenzio, I guess that's her last name now, on Tuesday, December 6th, via her Instagram. She wrote in part, "Today would have been Randy's 66th birthday, and it seems like the perfect day to make a special announcement. We've been working with Jimmy Dunlop and his team for quite some time now, and we are happy to officially announce a future Randy Rhoads Distortion pedal. Jimmy and his team have recently came down to check out Randy's pedal board for the first time in over 40 years. It was intricately examined, filmed, recorded, and documented at Masonia. They have patiently awaited its return from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Randy always referred to it as the chip pan. Today seemed like the perfect day to celebrate all Randy did for rock and roll and guitar players around the world. Be on the lookout for this pedal in 2023. His music lives on," which is one of those things where we was like, man, if that guy was still around, what sounds would be coming from him.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of in between Randy Rhoads and Jimi Hendrix. I mean, they both died in their 20s, and
Right.
the legacy that they left behind is still being felt even today. So I mean, even if something would have happened and they wouldn't have passed away when they did, and they would have like lived a fuller life, even if neither one of them was still alive today, if they would have been fortunate enough to survive into their 30s, 40s, 50s or whatever, and still make more music than they did, there is no telling what they would have come out with, what kind of influence they would have had. I mean, even on top of the influence that they have even now.
It's a crazy week, though, too, to talk about guitarists. If you got Randy Rhoads, had a birthday, and then, of course, we're looking back on the 8th from Dimebag's passing. So, so it's kind of crazy how much of a big part this week plays in the guitar world of metal. So,
yeah. I know it's kind of weird how stuff works like that. It kind of like in clusters. I mean, obviously not in the same year, but it just the same kind of chronological time frame as far as just the actual calendar goes. It is weird how that stuff kind of works out sometimes.
All right, last but not least, over at Loudwire, this is one we've been touching on and talked a little bit about today, but we're going to go into depth a little bit here. A lot of musicians have been taking a stand against concert venues lately for taking a cut of bands' merchandise sales, and now Bad Omens are the latest to make a statement regarding the matter. A fan posted a photo of a specialty cocktail menu at a venue bar, and all of the drinks were named after Bad Omens songs like Limits, Like a Villain, and Nowhere to Go. "Y'all wild, cheers," the fan wrote as a caption to the photo, which also showed that the drinks cost $18 with alcohol and $8 without it.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's dope. That quote, "That's dope. Artists still don't get a cut from the bar sales, even though the venue names gives the cocktails cute little names after your songs, but it'll still take 15 to 20% of touring artists' gross merch sales every night." Bad Omens replied in a post quoting the fan's tweet. "Nowhere to Go punch does sound delicious, though. Tip your bartenders." Just to be clear, we don't want a cut of your bar sales. We just don't want to give you 20% of the merchandise we design, pay for, manage, set up, carry, and sell ourselves because you gave 24 square foot of floor space in a venue we sold out, the band wrote in a subsequent tweet. Later, the Rockers quoted another tweet about booking agents and show guarantees and wrote, "When you pay more in merch percent than your guarantee, play for free," is what it equals to.
Basically.
This is obviously an increasingly frustrating situation for many younger bands who make the majority of their living from touring and album sales nowadays, as streaming services have such low payouts. In August, Australian metalcore band Alpha Wolf brought that matter to light also during one of their shows when frontman Loki Keo told the audience that dirty venues take a percentage of the band's merch sales. According to NME, over 400 UK-based music venues joined the Featured Artist Coalition's campaign to not take cuts of artist merch this year, which is awesome.
That is
a lot more of that. The discussion regarding punitive fees on merchandise sales is now very much a public one, with fans increasingly voicing their displeasure for such practices. The FAC will continue to advocate for a fair approach and more equitable system that allows artists to develop and grow. FAC CEO David Martin said. So hopefully that's something. Like I said, you're going to eventually get promoters to be like, I'm not going to play at this venue, but if you're going to take part of my band's sales, that's bullshit. Mm-hmm. So, and then the venues are going to start hurting. So,
yeah.
It's
the good thing is I'm glad that more and more bands are talking about this, and
me too.
I know there may be some people watching or listening who are like, you guys have already talked about this once. Yeah, but at the same time, I know we've talked about it before, like because we talked about it when Alpha Wolf first brought it up, mm-hmm. and then I know we've discussed it a couple of times with some of our guests, and we just talked about another story about it, but. The way that this shit is going to change and the way it's going to stop and the way that the way that eventually these venues will stop doing this altogether is if bands keep talking about it, mm-hmm. and then like people like us, the fans, keep talking about it. I mean, we have, because Jason and I, we have a platform now, so we can share our opinions on this. We can help get the band's opinions about this out there. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I guess it's an example of the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And this is one of those instances where this squeaky wheel needs to get some grease because people who don't deserve the money are taking the money.
Right.
It is one thing like because when we talked to Hext, we asked them about it, and they were of the opinion that if the venue is helping us sell the merch, that's one thing.
Right. Yeah. They got somebody there selling it for you. Yeah.
Yeah. If they're providing us somebody to help us sell the merch, that's one thing. But like what Bad Omen said is like, we're doing everything. All we need is a little bit of floor space, and you're charging us for that, and that's bullshit.
Right.
And I wholeheartedly agree. So while it may sound like we're trying to beat a dead horse, well, no, we're not trying to beat a dead horse. We're trying to make a change. Mm-hmm. These, bands like Halo Scars and stuff like that, they're not Metallica. They're not Pantera, Megadeth. So they are. The damn drummer had to leave to go to work, for fuck's sake.
Right. Yes.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. I got to go to work. So I mean, these guys have other things that they have to do, and when they have to pay to travel, pay to eat, you're gonna take a $1 out of every $5 just because is a horseshit reason. So yeah, I hope I see more and more stories about this, and I guarantee you this probably isn't going to be the last time we talk about it, because until there is widespread change, I think it's something that needs to be talked about so it doesn't get forgotten, because I'm sure some of these venues are like, this will probably blow over. I hope it doesn't. I really fucking hope it doesn't.
Same, yeah. I mean, it's just not fair for bands to put in their money to make all this stuff and design it, and then a venue come along and be like, oh, well, we need 20% of that. No, the fuck you don't. And like I said, it's going to be a point where I'll just sell it outside. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if me as a musician, I would do that. I would be like, if you're going to do that, I'm not even bringing my shit in here. Fuck you.
Yeah, if we were in a band, we'd be like, hey, we'll be selling shirts outside after the show.
Yep. I'd say it on a fucking microphone too. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's definitely not fair to the bands that are trying to make it. And these venues are already getting, overpriced alcohol. They're getting money from that. I mean,
Yeah,
they're getting so much
$18.
other-
That's ridiculous.
They're getting so much other money from everything. So I'm pretty sure they get a cut of ticket sales too. So I mean,
yeah. So I mean, there's gate revenue. There's all of the money at the bar, and last night when we went to East Side Bowl, we sat down and we ate food. We got something to eat before the show. There were a bunch of other people there who were there to see the concert. You could tell. I mean, you could tell.
Yeah.
So I mean, the venue itself made money in the restaurant off the people who were there showing up to watch the show. Let the performers sell their stuff and make their money. You're making your money. Ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but like I said, hopefully there's some changes there. I think with that group kind of getting together and joining the Feature Artist Coalition to say, hey, we're not going to take a cut of artists, and maybe that's what they need here. They need some kind of coalition, and you have to be. Maybe venues jump on that and be like, hey, we're going to be one of the venues that do not charge that. Well, then guess where all the bands are going to go?
Right. Exactly.
Shows. They're going to start playing shows at those venues, and then all the other venues are going to have to jump on board. So
right. Yeah. So I mean, it could actually end up being a boon for the particular venues who actually do join that FAC. So I mean,
right.
It could. I mean, it ultimately could be a win-win, really.
Well, see, the thing is, if you look at in other places too, like if you go, say, to Bridgestone and watch a concert, and you're having to pay for parking to park in their parking lots, you're having to pay for tickets, and you're having to pay for the $15 a piece fucking beers in there. So I mean, it's kind of they're like making money hand over fist in venues like that. So and that's for everything, not just a concert. That's for comedy shows and hockey games, everything that goes on in that place. So I mean, they're definitely not hurting. So plus it's owned by Gaylord Entertainment. So
right.
So, anyway, we got some other headlines to talk about here. Joey Belladonna says there's progress being made on the next Anthrax album, which is good news. So hopefully we will definitely hear about that being released in 2023, definitely in 2023, but hopefully earlier the better. So
that would be nice.
And I don't know if this is possible, but Tim Ripper Owens says KK's second album will be a little heavier and edgier than Sermons of the Sinner. So there's some problem stuff there, I guess. So,
I'm looking forward to that.
And then Rachel Bowen says Skid Row never uses pre-recorded tracks during live performances. We'd rather sing a bad note, which is, I think a lot of bands would probably
same
do that. So.
Same, Rachel. Same. We do. We got a lot of bad notes on this show, so we sing.
Right. Bad notes, bad connections, bad jokes. We got bad everything here. And then you're probably going to have to correct me on this thing, but Tumas Holopainen, is that right?
It's Thomas Holopainen.
There you go. From Nightwish. I know you probably knew that more than I did. But he said the next album will feature major surprises, so be on the lookout for that if you're a Nightwish fan.
Yeah, looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to a healthy Floor Jansen being able to sing on it too. So
yeah. So speaking of which, we talked about Nita Strauss earlier, and hopefully she's recovering well from her. Did she have the surgery yet? I can't remember. She was scheduled this week.
She had the surgery. They got everything out because they were able to, because it was.
No. I'm talking about Nita Strauss.
Oh, Nita Strauss is supposed to be having surgery, I believe, in January, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I knew it was.
She's trying to get through the rest of the year with her commitments, and then I think she's supposed to have surgery in January. I think that's.
I just she was in the list, and I wanted to make sure I gave her well wishes if she hadn't.
Oh yeah,
if she had went in, so but okay,
yeah. And hopefully her forehead doesn't hurt anymore from Alice Cooper's cane. So
yeah, there you go. That poor woman, she's had the shit beat out of her. So.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man, tough though. She kept playing. So
yes, she did.
Then of course the Nirvana Nevermind cover art lawsuit is back because what's his fucking name, Spencer or something another?
Spencer Eldon or some
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
that's
that.
it. That's
Something
it, yeah.
like that.
So he claimed that the statute of limitations didn't apply, so he's reopening it.
Well, then the next judge needs to be like, no, dismissed. I dismissed and dismissed and dismissed again. Yes, go the fuck away.
Yeah. And man, that picture I seen with him holding that album cover, he looked like he was so fucked up, dude. He was high as hell, looked like. But like I said, it looked like, I ain't gonna say he was, but it definitely looked like he was out there. So
yeah,
which may be the reason why he's trying to get some compensation. So.
Oh yeah, that's possible. I mean, you never know.
Is this the 5 o'clock crack giveaway?
Yeah. That's actually where my mind went too, to be completely honest with you.
The Charlie Benante, this is kind of the best thing I've heard about the Pantera
tribute.
Not reunion, tribute. Just like he said. He even said that in one of the things. So there's never been a reunion. But this is the best one I've heard. Is like, if you don't want to come, you don't have to come. So there you go. Like, very simple.
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much boils it down.
Yeah, unless you're on tour with Metallica, then the prices will defer you anyway. So.
Yeah. That's a topic maybe for next week's show when we have more time.
Something, yeah. But if you want to know how and this is the thing we were just kind of talking about. I'm going to bring this up, but we were dealing with all the technical difficulties, of course, so it kind of slipped under the radar. But I wanted to say how out of touch all the even metal magazines are with the metal industry. It's kind of getting crazy to hear, just like with this next headline, Ghost's Impero is Metal Hammer's album of the year. I'm just like, really? And I'm like, first off, you're a metal magazine, and obviously Ghost isn't really considered metal in our eyes, but and then if that ain't enough for you, then Alter Bridget's Silver Tongue has been voted the best riff of the year. So there you go, man. It's been, and then Polyphia's Playing God is the 2022 Song of the Year from Loudwire. So they're definitely all over the place with their best of.
Mm-hmm. And I mean that's their publication, that's their website. I mean they're entitled to it, So I mean not trying to necessarily discredit them, because we're about to have our own year in review and wrap up and everything. And spoiler alert, Ghost is not our album of the year, I promise you.
Right, yeah.
But so I mean everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I mean I just I don't know. I really have a hard time with that. I don't know. I guess that's really all I'm going to say about it right now. I just really have a hard time with it. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
And then Ghost's Tobias Ford said he isn't done with death metal. I still feel the urge to partake in it. And at this point, I would be like, please do, because maybe I won't fall asleep in the stands if you're singing death metal. But,
I was about to say he doesn't feel that he's done. When did he start?
Yeah. I think Ghost kind of started out that way, and then, I think Tobias may have. Okay. Yeah, I think Tobias may have actually been in a death metal type band before Ghost. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Like I say,
I don't know the whole history on Ghost, so.
No, neither do I. I don't either.
But I'm pretty sure I think I read that somewhere. So if not, then I apologize for misinformation. But
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. Either.
I will apologize for misinformation, unlike some publications. So.
Right. Yep.
And then I think you touched on the Evanescence album, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
10 times platinum. Yep. Diamond album.
No. And then Aerosmith have. You know what? I'm gonna cover this in the next segment. So. Tommy Lee was one of the top trending musician searches of 2022, and I wonder why. Yeah.
Tommy Lee wasn't.
Right. Yeah. A third of it was.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Municipal Waste drummers Dave Witt's stage diving mom is cooler than your mom.
I saw that. That's so badass.
That's pretty fucking wild, man. His mom stage diving is pretty
hell yeah, dude.
And then Joe DePlace wants to relax before working on a new Gojira record, which they released a single, so it's kind of odd that he would say that. So,
well, I mean, it's still fair too. I mean,
I mean, I would,
especially if he feels like he needs a little bit of a mental reset, So.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, they definitely have done a lot in the last couple of years since the release of Fortitude. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I think that was all of the headlines I had there. So,
well, that's good. That catches us up from a past couple of weeks, so that's totally fine.
And then I guess we can do some hitting the road here. I actually did a pretty good bit because I know you got a pretty lengthy stuff from last week and this week. So
I do. I
kind of thought about that, and I said, well, I'm gonna jump in and do more than usual just because I know you have that long list there. So I didn't go back as far as 2 weeks. So everything that I got is pretty recent. So
well, I mean, I like I told you last night, I didn't do history at all, but I wanted to make sure so I mean, I'm totally up to date with the hitting the road. So I do have 2 full weeks. So hopefully what you have, I have. That way I won't have to read it all.
Yeah, well, that's what I try to do. I try to help you out a little bit because I know that the first time you did it, I didn't do anything, and I thought, man, I probably need to jump in and help him a little bit. It was long, man, and plus it was back, earlier in the year where we had a lot of stuff going on. So,
well, sure, yeah.
So, this time of year it kind of starts dying, but we're talking about 2023 already too. So, that's starting to heat up a lot. So.
Yeah, it is.
So we'll do the hitting the road here. We need to start doing our little thing. Have like a truck go by or something.
I know. I want to. I know. I want to get some graphics and all that good stuff. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
But anyway, here's my contributions to hitting the road. Motley Crue, Def Leppard has added Alice Cooper to their new U.S. tour dates, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right here. I'm just name them all off since it's only 6 with Alice Cooper. But that's August 5th in Syracuse, New York at the GMA Wireless Dome. August 8th in Columbus, Ohio at the Ohio Stadium. August 11th in Fargo, North Dakota at Fargo Dome. August 13th, Omaha, Nebraska at Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. August 16th, Tulsa, Oklahoma at the H.A. Chapman Stadium. And August 18th in El Paso, Texas at the Sun Bowl Stadium.
Nice.
So that is the new dates with Alice Cooper on those tours. So El Paso's on there. So Myrna may go maybe able to go check that out.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And let us know how it was.
Yeah.
So to talk about a festival that's talked about on here a lot because I actually went to the last 2, but I won't be at this one. So anyway, plans for the 2023 Blue Ridge Rock Festival are already underway, with festival organizers continuing to roll out style of previous years by giving near daily announcements of the new acts joining the lineup. For those who have been counting, they're up to 12. Actually, I think they're up to 16 now, but at this point, they were up to 12. And then Flyleaf was the latest to join the bill at this point. Flyleaf will certainly draw some interest with vocalist Lacey Stern returning to the band for their 2023 performance at the festival. This also brings things a bit full circle for Blue Ridge organizers who kicked off this year's lineup announcements by revealing that Taproot would be reuniting for a 2023 festival set. There's also 2 other reunions of note among the early reveals for 2023. That was Cold Chamber and Woe Is Me. And providing special moments like reunions is nothing new for Blue Ridge, who are also welcoming Cold for a full album set celebrating the Year of the Spider album, and the live return of H.I.M. frontman Bill A. Valo as a solo artist. So other newly named additions for the 2023 lineup include Finger 11, Edema, Census Fail, Dayseeker, Tech 9, and Light Moss the Flames. So that will Blue Ridge 2023 takes place in Alton, Virginia, the weekend of September 7th through the 10th. 7th through the 10th of 2023. So if you're like I said, I think it's a festival that if you're in the area, yes, go. But I mean, for somebody traveling from like Miami or LA or something, yeah, fuck that. I would, you know, for the headaches that I had, I would not travel there again. So
Yeah, I mean they're gonna they got to get their shit together. They really do.
yeah, they do. So
I mean, because I haven't been, and you've been, and you say, I mean, between what I've heard from you and Susie, because like Susie was even talking about, she's like, there's no fucking way in hell I'm going. You know,
she already said they give her free tickets. She's not going. So.
Right. So she was like, there's no uncertain terms that I would fucking go back. And I mean, with everything that you guys have said, you know, like just to me or just on the show, it's just like, it doesn't even sound like it's worth it. I mean, they put together great lineups. Sure. I mean, you can't really argue with it, but I mean, all the logistical and details and everything else, it just ruins it really.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like you know, like I said, you get to the point to where you're missing stuff and stuff, so it's not really worth, you know, wasting a bunch of time and money. I mean, plus they say they take into account of what we're seeing as far as the fan driven experience, but they're not doing anything to remedy it. So
right, it's all lip service.
Right, you know, and the fact is, it's like it's been you know, shuttle issues for the last 2 years, and then you know, this year they're saying, "Oh, we've remedied that." I said, "Well, you know, you said that last year." So I mean, you know, how am I supposed to take that into account as being true? You know, I mean, your actions speak louder than your words. You know, this way I look at it. So
right.
All right, carry on here. We got Slipknot continuing to take over the world, bringing their Knotfest brand festival to Italy for the first time in 2023. The group has announced a lineup for the inaugural event, which is now on the schedule for June 25th in Bologna, Italy. It's not Bologna. If you're from Tennessee, it's not Bologna. So. Slipknot will headline the festival with support acts from Architects Amon Amarth, I Prevail, Lona Shore, Nothing More, and The Strange, providing Italian audiences with some of the top talent in both hard rock and metal music. The festival will be held at Bologna's Arena Parco Norte on June 25th. Good news for Italy there, I guess. We got Skid Row going on tour with Buck Cherry. The gang's all here, 2023. So I think they're actually co-headlining that, I believe. I think I read.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a co-headlining tour.
Yeah, and it's just a month-long deal there. So kicks off on March 9th in Bowler, Wisconsin at the North Star Casino, and winds up on March 31st in Hinton, Oklahoma at the Sugar Creek Casino. So they're doing a casino run, I guess.
Mostly.
more. It went from arenas to casinos. So. Then we got Papa Roach and Fallen in Reverse have officially confirmed a second North American leg of their Rockzilla co-headlining tour, which will take place in 2023 and feature support from Hollywood Undead and Escape to Fate. That kicks off February 1st in Rochester, New York at the Main Street Armory, and winds up on March 5th at Seattle, Washington at the Angel of the Winds Arena.
That's an interesting venue name.
Yeah, it is. Then we talked about this one a little bit last night. Queensryche, Marty Friedman, and Trauma are going on a spring tour, kicking off March 3rd in Orlando, Florida at the Plaza Live, and then ending on April 16th in St. Petersburg, Florida at Janus Live. But they will swing through Nashville on April 14th at the Brooklyn Bowl. So that may be one that I'll have to get tickets to because I have not seen Queensryche. So
I haven't either.
Be a good bucket list check off there, I guess. So
I've never seen Queensryche. I didn't see Megadeth when Marty Friedman was in there, and then I've never seen Trauma either.
Yeah, so that would be a 3 and out right there, man.
Yeah, it would.
And then, of course, we talked about Anthrax cancels their Bloodstock open air appearance due to logistical issues again. So I don't know what's going on with the logistical issues over there, but evidently there's not enough people moving stuff that for the bands that are actually touring. So that's what it seems like. I don't think it's more of a money issue. I just don't think they can find anybody to to move it, affordably.
Right.
Well, I guess it could be affordably. I guess people's probably taking advantage of that situation, being like, well, I know you can't find nobody else, so I'm gonna jack it up $4,000 and
That actually may be part of it.
And then Alternative Rockers Cold will celebrate their 20th anniversary of their third album, 2003's Year of the Spider, by embarking on a U.S. tour next spring. The group will perform the LP in full at each stop, which will feature support from Divide the Fall, Awake for Days, Signal to Noise, and Death Valley Dreams on select dates. And then Death Valley Dreams features Cold members Nick Coyle and Johnny Nova. So that's pretty interesting. They're gonna have a band open up that's actually familiar with the band. So,
Right. Yeah.
So that kicks off on March 17th in Syracuse, New York at the Lost Horizon. And that ends on May 29th in Cleveland, Ohio at the Cambridge Room. They will swing through Nashville on April 13th at the Basement East. So, so it's pretty cool to see a lot of these bands actually got Nashville added to their dates now. So
Yeah.
seems like it's been a while since we said that. So.
Yeah.
And then this is my last one. Fit for a King has announced the winter 2023 headline tour. The Hell We Create tour kicks off on February 16th in Tempe, Arizona, and runs through March 19th in Dallas, Texas. The band will be joined by North Lane, Alpha Wolf, and Kingdom of Giants. So,
yep.
So there we go. That is my contributions there. Hopefully, I gave you a little bit of a.
Oh yeah, you did.
Down process there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I mean, not from the first week, but definitely the second week.
Yeah,
that was a nice chunk. So, all right, so hitting the road, going all the way back to November 26th, leading up eventually all the way through the 9th yesterday, leading off, and obviously everybody pretty much knows by now. I mean, it was all over the place, but Metallica will be going to, well, they're going all over the place with their 72 Seasons World Tour, starting out in 2023 and ending all the way in 2024. They'll be starting off in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. The first night will be with the Architects and Mammoth WVH, and then the second night will be with Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills. So eventually they're going to be coming over here, and Pantera will be on the bill. So I'm not gonna go through the whole thing because it's there's every stop is 2 nights. There's different lineups each night. So some of them have Five Finger Death Punch, some of them have Pantera, some of them have Architects, some have Mammoth WVH. So like I say, if you're any sort of heavy metal fan and you haven't heard about this yet, that's kind of on you because it's literally been everywhere. So like I say, I'm not gonna get into this in any great detail.
You said that the name of that album is 72 Seasons, right?
I'm pretty sure it was 72 Seasons.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. I think that's what it was. Yeah. I got an idea for a promotion. Why don't you make the damn ticket $72, motherfucker?
There you go. How about that? Yeah. You and your $1.2 billion in ticket sales. Yeah. The closest
ridiculous.
Yeah. The closest that the tour is coming to Tennessee is St. Louis, Missouri on November 3rd and 5th at the Dome at America's Center. The first night will feature Pantera and Mammoth WVH, and then Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills will be on the 5th. They will be in Detroit, or right outside from where I'm originally from, but St. Louis is still closer to us down here. And then like I say, it goes all the way into 2024 where they'll be going to Europe, to Poland, Spain, and then ending in Mexico. So like I say, go check it out. There's a shitload of information, a shitload of tour dates. Not going to get into everything. So, and then we have Lacuna Coil, The Birthday Massacre, Blind Channel, and Edge of Paradise are going on a West Coast tour in 2023, starting May 4th in San Jose, California at the Ritz, finishing May 19th in Los Angeles, California at the Belasco. Barry Tomorrow has got a couple of separate tours planned. Their North American tour with Hollow Front, Afterlife, and Siamese starts May 2nd, 2023 in Los Angeles at the Echoplex, finishing May 20th in New York at the Gramercy Theater. They will be at the Basement East in Nashville on May 11th.
Let's check that out.
Then their Australian tour, the support acts have not been announced yet, but the tour itself starts October 13th in Perth at Amplifier Bar, finishing October 21st in Brisbane at the Bright Side. Then we have Soulfly and Body Box going out on tour. The tour dates with Half Heard Voices starts January 25th in Tucson, Arizona at The Rock, finishing February 16th in Baltimore at the Baltimore Soundstage. Then Skinflint will be the opener, starting February 17th in Clifton, New Jersey at Dingbats, finishing March 5th in St. Paul, Minnesota at Turf Club. And then the last leg of the tour with Drift as the opener will be March 7th in Omaha, Nebraska at the Waiting Room, finishing April 1st in Tempe, Arizona at the Marquee Theater. They will not be coming to Nashville with any lineup. So no Nashville date on that tour at all. Then we have counterparts, Kubla Khan, Texas, Paleface, and Dying Wish going to Europe and to the UK starting April 14th in Cologne, Germany at Canteen, finishing May 6th in London, UK. It's England, London, England at the O2 Academy in Islington. Tsunami, Big Boy, Extinguish, Ingrown, and Spy going out on tour. The support acts are going to kind of, be revolving. That tour starts February 24th in Anaheim, California at Chain Reaction and finishes March 29th in Detroit at Edgeman Print Shop. There's no Nashville date, but they will be in Chattanooga, Tennessee at Poor Taste on March 16th. Then we have Lingua Ignata and Chat Pile. They're going on a West Coast tour, which will be Lingua Ignata's last tour. She is retiring her catalog completely. That tour starts February 17th in Portland, Oregon at the Star Theater, finishing February 25th in Denver at the Stanley Hotel. Then the Gorilla Biscuits have added 3 new East Coast dates. Those are March 31st in Richmond, Virginia at the Broadberry, featuring End It, Truth Cult, and Reckoning Force. April 1st in Baltimore, Maryland at Soundstage, featuring End It, Praise, Magnitude, and Be Well. And April 2nd in Hamden, Connecticut at the Space Ballroom, featuring Soul Blind, Almighty Watching, and Wreckage. Botch has announced a 3rd reunion show at the Spanish Ballroom in Tacoma, Washington on February 17th of 23. Flesh God Apocalypse, Obscura, Wolfheart, and Thalcandra are going on tour starting February 18th in San Francisco, California at the DNA Lounge, finishing March 16th in LA at the Regent. No Nashville date there. Goat Whore has announced some new dates. Starting January 5th in Pensacola at the Handlebar, featuring Heraklion, I think. I hope I said that right. January 6th in Tampa at the Orpheum, featuring Caveman Cult, and Heraklion. And then I'm not gonna read all these. Then the last date is January 14th in Long Beach, Missouri at Trax Bar, featuring Skull, Dozer, Killhammer, and Heraklion. So then we have Escuela Grind has been added as the opener for Napalm Death's European tour with Drop Dead and Siberian Meat Grinder. That tour starts February 9th in Eindhoven, Netherlands at Dynamo, finishing March 12th in London, England at the Electric Ballroom. Motley Crue will play a pair of quote-unquote intimate shows in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Those dates are February 10th and 11th at the Mark G. Etes Arena at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino.
Intimate means Tommy Lee's playing with his penis.
That's right. Yep. That's right. It's Tommy Lee's penis featuring Motley Crue. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Then we have the Callous Dow Boys have announced their final shows for 2022. This is kind of old, so you'll have to forgive me because, like I say, this was from last week. The next to last show is tonight in Savannah, Georgia at Mosh for Tots. And the very last show is on the 12th in Columbia, South Carolina at the New Brooklyn Tavern. Then let's see, we have City of Caterpillar going on tour starting. I don't have any information on any support acts, but the tour starts January 19th in Columbia, South Carolina at the New Brooklyn Tavern, finishing January 29th in Memphis, Tennessee at the High Tone. That's the only Tennessee date. Then we have Nay, Obliviscaris, and Persephone going to Europe and to the UK, with Asymmetric Universe as the opener, May 5th in Helsinki, Finland at Tavastia, finishing May 18th in London, England at the Islington Academy, and then with Omnific as the opener, May 20th in Leiden, Netherlands at the GEBR de Nobel. I don't know what that is in Netherlands, so forgive me, all my European friends. Then the tour will end completely June 3rd in Leipzig, Germany at Naumann. Guns N' Roses' first live show of 2023 will take place at Hyde Park in London, England on June 30th. The opening acts are to be announced. Integrity and Spirit World have announced a trio of Mexican dates. Well, that doesn't seem right. It says Mexican. I must have typed that wrong because they're Texas dates, not Mexican dates. January 13th in Houston at the Studio at Warehouse Live, January 14th in Austin at Mohawk, and then January 15th in Dallas at the Studio at the Factory. Then Archspire,
They're Tex-Mex dates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then we have Archspire, Psychroptic, Benighted, and Entheos going to Europe and to the UK, starting March 3rd in Essen, Germany at Turok, finishing March 26th in Berlin, Germany at SO36. That rounds out the 26th through the 2nd. So for the 3rd through the 9th, over at the PRP.com, starting out there, we have Silverstein, Dayseeker, See You Space Cowboy, and One Step Closer, starting March 30th in Ottawa, Ontario at Bronson, finishing March 7th in Grand Rapids, Michigan at the Intersection. No Nashville date there. Igor and Melt Banana have rescheduled their North American tour for September and October of next year, with Otto von Schirach replacing Vows as the opener. Starting September 8th in Mesa, Arizona at the Nile, finishing October 14th in San Diego at Music Box. No Nashville date there. Spirit Box is going on a European and UK tour in July, starting July 5th in Birmingham, England at the O2 Institute, finishing July 14th in London, England at the Roundhouse. Carcass has 4 dates scheduled in March for the UK and Ireland. March 15th in Glasgow at Slay. March 16th in Belfast at Limelight, March 17th in Limerick at Dolan's, and March 18th in Dublin at Academy. Body Snatcher, Angel Maker, Paleface, and Distant going out starting March 1st in West Palm Beach, Florida at Respectables, finishing March 29th in Worcester, Mass. At the Palladium upstairs. There's a Nashville date of March 5th at the end. Mac Sabbath, the McDonald's themed Black Sabbath tribute band is going to have a run of West Coast shows starting December 16th of this year in Concord, California at Vinny's Bar and Grill, finishing February 5th in Mesa, Arizona at the Nile. And if you can laugh all you want, but Ozzy actually did go see Mac Sabbath himself at one point. So there you go. So the Fall of Troy has announced a few dates for a self-titled debut album 20th anniversary. They will be in Roseville, California at the Goldfield on January 5th, Fresno, California at Strummers on the 6th, San Diego, California at Casbah on the 7th, and Anaheim, California at the House of Blues on the 7th. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but maybe an early show and a late show. I don't know.
Yeah,
so I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do that, but so they got that going on. Then Pop Evil, The Word Alive, and Avoid are going out starting March 17th in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan at Keewatin Casino, finishing April 23rd in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the Rave. They will be in Nashville on April 2nd at the Basement East. Imperial, Triumphant, Cloak, and Couch Slut are going out starting January 31st in Clifton, New Jersey at Dingbats, finishing February 12th in Brooklyn, New York at the St. Vitus Bar. Cloak will not be at that show, and they will be in Nashville February 3rd at the End. So the End is getting some love at the start of next year, which is nice. Then Limp Bizkit, Wargasm, and Black Gold are going to Europe and the UK, which is a reschedule of a previously postponed tour. Now starting March 30th in Munich, Germany at Zenith, finishing April 17th in London, England at the O2 Academy, Brixton. Then this was over from Facebook. I saw this posted over there. Steel Panther, Crowbot, and Tragedy are going on tour starting February 24th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the House of Blues, finishing May 28th in Dublin, Ireland at Vickers Street. They will be in Nashville March 6th at Marathon Music Works, which is where Jason and I saw them the last time. So then over to
hopefully tickets aren't $90 a piece this time.
No shit, yeah. Then going over to Blabbermouth, we have the Winery Dogs are going to Europe in 2023, starting June 12th in Hamburg, Germany at Markethal, finishing June 27th in Angoulême, France at Crossroad. Then last but not least, we have Camelot, Myrath, Eline, and League of Distortion going to Europe, starting March 12th in Preteln, Switzerland at Z7, and finishing April 8th in Budapest, Hungary at Barba Negra. So that is the hit in the road for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I forgot I had that story up in the headlines that I was going to mention in the hit in the road, but Aerosmith have released another statement confirming they will cancel their last 2 scheduled Las Vegas residency shows on the 8th and the 11th. Due to Steven Tyler had been feeling unwell and was advised by his doctors not to perform. So,
yeah, there you go. Listen to your doctors, folks.
That's right. Yeah, you got to listen to that stuff.
Yeah, and Victor, you're right.
Especially at his age.
Right. Yeah, and all the drugs he's done. Yeah, Victor, you're right. Metallica will be in Chicago also. They will be at Soldier Field. So, like I say, that Metallica tour is going to a lot of places. I just didn't want. I didn't want to read the whole list. So,
well, I kind of hope that they, at some point on this tour, kind of wind down and not do the stadium thing and bring some like I said, like Megadeth's starting to do this. So I hope they do too, start to bring some younger bands on with them to kind of build them up a little. So I don't think any of the bands on that Metallica list need any building. I think we pretty much know who all those bands are. So
yeah. Although I will disagree with their choice to take Greta Van Fleet out with them, but again, Metallica's Metallica. They have the right to make those decisions.
Do what they want. So
they can do what they want.
You can see that though with bands like Metallica because they grew up on Led Zeppelin. So I mean, you can kind of see where they kind of went with that probably.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I can concede that. I can concede that fact.
All right, I guess we will go into the metal theme of the week. This week, we went with the circus / carnival, so kind of both, either or both. You should find things in those, but I don't know. This one was a little difficult, but
this one was trickier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, I still come up with about 13, I think. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I had 11.
Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's all I got. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. I got 12. So.
Okay. Well, some of our
hopefully we don't have a lot of overlap, but we'll see, I guess.
Well, some of our friends may have to help us. I know. I know Victor added 3 songs to the list last week, so
Oh, cool.
I guarantee you there are some we have forgotten. So maybe.
Probably, and we're just not like. It won't hit us till after the fact. Like, And hell, I'll probably name some, and you'll be that, and you'll probably name some, and I'll be like that. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So, but yeah, maybe our friends can help us.
Anyway, go through mine here. The first one I had was Five Finger Death Punch. Welcome to the Circus from, of course, the Afterlife album earlier this year.
That's one I didn't put on my list on purpose.
And then I went with Onslaught, Bow Down to the Clowns from Generation Antichrist 2020. And then I went with Korn's Clown from Korn 1994. And then I went with Avatar Smells Like a Freak Show from the Black Waltz 2012. And then I went with Arch Enemy House of Mirrors from Deceivers 2022. And then I went with Municipal Waste, Sadistic Magician from The Art of Partying 2007.
Nice.
And this one was new. This is actually, we'll be talking about this band here in just a minute. Merciless Law, they had a song called World Circus from the Troops of Steel album earlier this year. Then we had Wasp, Inside the Electric Circus from Inside the Electric Circus 1986. And then I went with Annihilator, Carnival Diablos from Suicide Society 2015. And then I went with Death Angel, Carnival Justice from The Killing Season 2008. And then I went with Anthem, The Juggler, Hunting Time 1989. And then last but not least, I went with Confess, You Can't Tame the Beast from Revenge at All Costs 2022. So.
Nice. Yeah, I also left that Annihilator song, or not the Death Angel song off my list too, on purpose. Well, and the messed up thing is, I mean, it's a good thing I did, because I mean we still had 3 doubles.
Yeah, well, that's not too bad. That's not as bad as I thought it would be.
It's not horrible. We've definitely had more, but my theme of the week list, starting off, I had Circus by Cobra and the Lotus off of Evolution from 2019. And then I'll just knock out the doubles right away. I had Bow Down to the Clowns by Onslaught, Smells Like a Freak Show by Avatar, and Carnival Diablos by Annihilator. Then this one pisses me off because it's such a good song, but it's incredibly not on Spotify. But I wanted to put it out there anyway so people can go fucking find it on YouTube. I had Negotiating the Clowns by Angelus Apatrida off of their album Evil Unleashed from 2006. It's not on fucking Spotify, and it pissed me off when I saw that.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's not on Spotify.
Interesting.
So I'm not happy about
it's
that.
It's like the whole album's not there? Or?
Whole album. It's not there. Not there at all. It only goes there. Angelus Apatrida's discography only goes back to 2010.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. And then I had Modern Roman Circus by a band called Helker from their album Somewhere in the Circle from 2013. They're a heavy metal band from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Then I had All the Clowns by Ed Guy off of Mandrake from 2001. Carnival of Execution by Hatriot from Days Unto Darkness from 2019. Then I had Carnival of Souls by Savage Messiah from Plague of Conscience from 2012. Then I had Carnival of Monsters from a band called Thrashist Regime off of their album of the same name. They are a thrash metal band from Aberdeen, Scotland. This one is an instrumental, and the only reason why I added it is because it's fucking awesome. It's like 6.5 minutes of nothing but goddamn shredding, and I'm like, this is nice. So I liked it, so I added it. So there you go. And then last but not least, I had a song called Roman Circus by a band called Antidoto, and off their album Venenosa Humanidad from 2019. They are a thrash metal band from Bogota, Colombia. So there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad. So yeah, we'll as usual, we'll get that list compiled and collaborated and then posted for you guys. As far as I know, like I said, I think they changed the collaboration link from 24 hours to 7 days, but I know that Victor has had a couple of issues finding the add songs link. So if any of you guys, anybody in the Facebook group, if you guys want to add any songs and if you're having issues finding the link to add songs, let one of us know. We can hook you up. So I don't know what the problem is, because when I send the link to Jason, he has no issues adding the songs from his list. So I don't know what the issue might be as far as having the link added to the Facebook group. As far as I know, it should just be the same setup as what Jason goes through when I send it to him. But like I say, our buddy Victor had a little bit of an issue adding the songs. So if anyone else wants to add a song and is having trouble, just let us know. We'll help you guys out with that. Which playlist is this, bud?
That's the weekly.
The weekly one. There you go. All right. The weekly playlist. There's the link. There's the link up on the screen right now. But there we go. That's the theme of the week. Oh, wait a minute. I don't need that. I need that. Damn it. I didn't want to close that. There we go. All right. All right. So we are going.
Yeah.
to...
So I see what he's saying. Yeah, you have to follow that link. That's the only way you can add. That's what he's saying. So
yeah. I wish there was a.
he was asking. He was saying that when he logged in, he couldn't add to that. Then that's probably why, because it's the way you send it to me is through text message, so I can add myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember, that's what we had the first time when we were doing this. You were sending it through Messenger, and I could never do it.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So once you send it to me through text message, I can add it. So
okay.
So yeah, he'll probably have to just follow that link whenever he's on the ad that way. So it's a little harder that way too. But
yeah, I wish I kind of wish they made it easier.
Well, like I said, hopefully at some point we'll be able to play music on here. We won't have to worry about it. So.
Right, and people can just make requests, and we can play the requests. There you go.
Yep. So, all right, I guess it is over to album review time. So, and I meant to talk to you about this before. Because I don't. Did you go with that album, or did you do something?
Yeah,
okay.
I went ahead and went with that because, like I say, that was one of the when you texted me about it. That was
I went back and looked through, and I said, "Well, he never said if he was doing that or not." So hopefully that's what he did. But
yeah, I did. I just went with that one.
I actually found one from. I was going through YouTube to try to find content for the page, the Facebook page, just to put videos out there or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this one. It said it had just been released. And I'm like, oh, I said, well, that's not on the damn list. So I was checking it out, and I said, oh, I like this. So I decided to check out that whole album.
Cool.
And it was on Spotify. It just wasn't listed on the list for some reason. I don't know why, but.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's not an all-encompassing list. I'm sure.
Oh, it's not. It's definitely better than what we were usually going by. So I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. But
right. Well, I mean, and the website even says that all of the info that they get is submitted by record companies. So I mean, I guess they just didn't.
Well, there you go.
Submission.
That's probably the issue because this is an unsigned independent deal. So they probably just didn't submit it to the page. So. And then once I start talking about this, you may realize why. But I went with a band called Merciless Law. I say band, but we'll get to that in a minute. The album was called The Holy Company. They're out of Los Angeles, Bio in Chile. So they're from Chile.
Okay.
They're a heavy power metal band. From there, so this is the thing. This is the second full length album, and they had an EP earlier this year as well. So it's all been this year. Which is crazy to think that they put out this much stuff this year. But this is why when I go and look at the members, it says Pancho Ireland vocals and guitars, and that is it. This person goes and does the drumming and all that stuff computerized. And then as the guitars and vocals, and then they've had from what I was read, they had some special, people come on and do some stuff with them. But it's just that one person doing all this, which is kind of Trent Reznor, like when we grew up, was whenever we found out 9 Inch Nails was only one person, we're like, what the fuck? But this is even more impressive to me because it's power heavy metal and it's one person doing it. I'm just like, I even followed them on Facebook, and that was my comment to the album was, I said when I first listened to this, I was like, this cannot be fucking one person. but it's pretty amazing. It's 8 songs, 37 minutes, 53 seconds, so it's pretty reasonable listen. The vocals on this is very powerful. I think when I say that, I'm talking like John Oliva from Sabotage type power. So I mean,
I got you.
It's definitely got some range, and of course the guitars are amazing. And like I said, the drums done by a computer program, I believe, and they were really really good. One man band is awesome. Look at James McBean of Hell Ripper. Are you fucking serious? Hell Ripper's a one man band? I didn't know that either. holy shit, dude. And I like that. I like that too. So that's crazy. But definitely some talent there to be able to put all this together. And this is the third thing they put out this year. This is what's crazy. It's like
That's cranking it out, man.
Yeah. And
shout out to Victor for giving us the news there about Hell River.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did not know that. So
fun fact.
Yeah. But anyway, it's like all of it's done really, really well. And they mix it, they do everything themselves, and like I said, I was just amazed by this album being written, performed in one person. I'm just like, this is unfucking real. But several of the tracks did seem to have backing vocals, so I don't know if they recorded that too in a different style and just added it in later or something, or if they actually had somebody there backing them, but just didn't, it's not kind of accredited. I don't know, because it's just backing vocals. I don't know, but
possible.
It worked. Whatever they were doing is working. So I really, really like this one. There was like one song that I didn't really care for, but it wasn't really. I mean, it wasn't a bad song. It was just kind of But anyway, definitely worth a listen. I'm gonna give it 3.5 horns. Definitely check that out if you're a power metal guy, because that's definitely kind of.
Okay, now, I'm sorry. Which album did you do by Merciless Law?
The Holy Company.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to make sure because when you started talking about it, I went over to Encyclopedia Metallum, and he has another full length album that came out in 2022.
Yeah, Truths of Steel.
I just wanted to make sure. I couldn't remember which one you had said because there's
I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that one came out either. And then there's an EP that came out too.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, dude's been cranking it out. Man.
Yeah, man. I want to say
pretty cool.
Let me run over here real quick.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm gonna check it out too.
Yeah, check it out, man. It's definitely it's just unreal. Just to it's 8 songs per album. Pretty much. Yeah, the other one came out in March.
That's not bad.
The other one came out. Yeah, the Troops of Steel came out in March.
Yeah.
So he did that. Did that in March, and then this one in December is kind of damn.
There you go.
Putting out quality music that close together is pretty amazing. So.
Well, he's a one-man band. If there's any arguments, it's amongst himself. So.
Yeah, right. So, kind of cute. So I was doing everything, but I was starting to do some stuff wrong, so I just kicked myself out of the band.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you got to do this. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. You know what I mean? Another one-man band is Satanic War Master. There's probably a lot more one-man bands out there that we're even aware of. Got to be.
Yeah, I know we talk about the two-man band stuff a lot. Because
Spirit Adrift, yeah.
Something like in bands like that, but it's still amazing to have one person put all that together. That's definitely a lot of work and very, very talented musicians. So. And I also listened to Gomorrah, Dealer of Souls. This one is really weird. They're from Basel Stadt in Switzerland. They're a heavy power metal band. It says they formed in 2019, but this is the thing. So if you go in and look, they were not from 1994 to 2000. They were known as the Gonorrheas.
Jesus.
And then from 2000 to 2019, they were known as the Gonorrheas, but they changed the spelling. And then from 19 to present, they were known as Gomorrah. So I don't know how all that came about. But they've been a band since '94. So it looks like they've got been around a pretty good while. So. All the members only get credited for 2019 to present, but I think most of the band has been together for a minute. So I'm gonna go and look this back up real quick, just so I'm not giving you any false information. But
right. So what you're saying is gonorrhea didn't catch on?
I guess not. Yeah, I guess it was. I guess they got treatment.
Shit. Okay. All right. Well,
you was itching to get that joke out. So.
I was. Yeah. Had this burning desire to make that joke.
Yeah, because when you go up and look at the lineup, there's only one past member, and he was just from 19 to 20. So evidently, it was So I mean, all these members have been active since '94. It sounds like. I mean, I'll have to look. Like, I may reach out to these guys to try to get them on, just so we can kind of get some history on how all that transpired, because that's really, really wild. But anyway, they have let's see, Steve Hosley on drums, Damir Eskik on guitars, Dominic Blum on guitars, Jonas Ambul on vocals, and Armand Hadzik on bass. This is their second full-length album. Their first one was in 2020. They've also had 2 EPs out, one in 2021 and 2022. So they kind of put out an EP and then a full release right after, it looks like. So. This one was 11 songs, 49 minutes, 1 second. So Jonas really has some incredible range vocally. He can hit those normal notes, and then he can reach out to some Halford, Ripper, Owens ranges, it was like crazy to hear that, and it's like, wow, that's freaking, and he was holding it too, boy. I was just like, damn. And of course, you had guitars, and more guitars. But
never a bad thing.
No, man, there was some amazing solos on there, and kind of like some of those touching your, I say touching your soul type riffs, because you can just like hear it, and you're just like, you're all into it like that. When you're listening to it, and it was, it was really, really good, but. And then, of course, you had those drums galloping in sync with the riffs, and it was all kind of just like went and flowed like really, 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 really well. So, and then of course they had a song on there called Stand United. Sorry, and they had the singer from Burning Witches, Laura Godemont, guesting on it. Which, man, they complimented each other really, really well too. So. I was just like, man, they might form a super group here or something. But but it was definitely a really, really good album. This one's definitely a 4-horn for me. So
that's awesome.
So definitely 2 albums to check out.
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, I did go with the album that you texted me about, the new album Thus Always to Tyrants by Orion Path. I think that's how you say it. They are an epic power metal band. They were formed in 1997 in Boston, Massachusetts, but they are currently based out of Lemessos, Cyprus. And Cyprus, for you geography folks, is an island in the Mediterranean Sea just off the coast of Lebanon. So let's see. Their current lineup consists of Miguel Trapezaris on bass, the Leptos brothers of Socrates on guitars, and Nicholas on vocals. Then you have Christoforos Gavriel on guitars. So a lot of vowels in there. So they would clean up on the Wheel of Fortune. So
yep.
Yeah. So their lyrical themes include mythology, mysticism, and history, which I do enjoy bands that sing about history. See also Sabaton. This is their 9th full-length studio album. Their debut album came out in 2004. So, they've put out music at a pretty steady clip. They had a 6-year gap between albums 1 and 2, but then they went 10, 11, 13, 16, 17, 18, 20, and 22. So, they had a little bit of a slow start, but then they started cranking them out. The version of the album that I listened to was 11 tracks long at 64 minutes. But apparently there was another version of the album that was 13 tracks long and 1 hour and 17 minutes long, with a couple of bonus tracks, but the version that was on Spotify just had tracks 1 through 11, which was totally fine. It's totally fine. I wasn't too upset about that at all. This album actually ended up kind of like getting a little long and kind of like droned on for me a little bit. I know I've said this on a show before. I'm a power metal guy. I love power metal. The epic part of it is what kind of always gives me pause. because the epic power metal a lot of times is a little over the top for me. It's kind of a little overdone with some of the musical compositions, some of the accompanying This is going to sound a little hypocritical, I know, because of some of the bands that I've reviewed before, but some of the symphonic accompaniments and some of the elements that get added on to the epic power metal can go a little over the top sometimes. This one kind of did that at spots for me. I'm not 100% sure what song it was, because like I said, I listened to this album while I was driving. So that's the bad thing about driving, is when you notice something, you can't really pay too much attention about what song you're listening to and make a note about it. There was one track on the album. It may have been right around track 7 to 9, somewhere in there, where this guy, Nicholas Leptos, either has an impossible top end to his vocal range, or he was using a computer enhanced vocal, but it was so high pitched. I was like, that doesn't even sound right. So that was kind of strange. He does this weird, he's got a great voice. I'm not taking anything away. He's actually got a perfect voice for power metal. He really does. But he does this weird kind of shrieking thing off and on during the album that's kind of it's a little off-putting. So, it was kind of odd. I do like the fact that they sing a lot about historical stuff, and I'm gonna look up some of this stuff because, like, let's see, you have some of these. I'm not gonna read every album title, but you have songs talking about Artaxerxes II Memnon crossing over the Phoenicia, raid of the Achaemenids, I think it is. Then you have the army of the Myrmidons, or the Myrmidons rather. So they're singing about actual events in human history, and I kind of like that. It was one of the things I like about Sabaton. So I like bands that will sing about actual shit that's happened in history, whether it's war or just human history in general. So I do kind of like a lot of the subjects that they sang about. Some of the songs I think were probably longer than they had to be. I think they kind of milked a few of them, which is another kind of one of the things that kind of, I guess, bothers me about epic power metal. They kind of take some of the elements and they kind of church them up a little bit, and they kind of stretch them out. And some of the tracks can get a little bit bloated with run times. So, overall, I'm going to only give it like 2.5 out of 5. There were parts I liked. There were parts I didn't. It wasn't a horrible listen, of course, but there were some things I would have changed. I would have shortened some of the songs. Maybe, of course, a lot of this probably would change the overall sound of the band, and I wouldn't want to do that to them, because that's obviously the sound that they were going for. So that the changes may not be fair to them. But from a personal standpoint, as far as a fan, I would make some changes. And then I don't know what the other 8 albums sound like, so I don't know if this was an evolution to this or if it was just a continuation of their overall sound. So, but only going to give this one 2.5 out of 5, right down the middle for this one. So,
all right. That's not what you got to listen to this week.
Yeah, that was all I was able to get through this week, unfortunately. Had a super duper busy day at work. Wasn't able to really.
Oh yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, so just the one. Now I know we're pushing 3 hours and 45 minutes here. Do you want me to read the entire list like we had been historically, or do we just want to worry about what we're going to review for next week? So either way,
yeah.
I
wasn't going to do anything history. I usually don't do anything history whenever we got bands on, because I know it runs long. So.
No. What I was saying is, like normally at the end of the album review segment, we read all of the upcoming new releases. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, you can, because it's not as long as it usually is. So,
okay, all right. I was gonna say I was cool doing it either way. I didn't really know.
No, you're good. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Okay,
we can go ahead and tell everybody what's coming up. So,
Nice. Okay. So for this coming Friday, the December 16th, leading off, we have Absolute Darkness with Failure of State, Alex Meister with Rock in a Hard Place. We have, it's either Arch or Arc. I'm not exactly sure because it could go either way, the way it's spelled with transitions. We have Asketum with Aztec, I think. Blood Clot with Souls, Classless Act with Welcome to the Acoustic Show. That's an EP. We have Congealed Putrescence. I can't wait to see that album cover. Within the Ceaseless Murk. That is an EP. We have Dead Path with Hate Within. Then we have Dodd Hap with Black Sun. Dodd's Angle with Bab Al On. I think it's supposed to be a take on Babylon. Then we have Dungeon Crawl and Throne of Iron with the Side Quest. That is a split album. We have Empty with Omnia Amet Lorem. We have Final Error with Necromantic Rituals, Gasudar, and Malignant Altar. Like we talked about Malignant Altar earlier in the show. They may or may not be broken up at this point, but they do have a split album coming out with Gasudar. Yeah, so they may have went out on a high note. You don't know. So
yeah, right.
Then we have Green King with Hidden Beyond Time, Heartlight with From Midland and Beyond. That is an EP. We have Hellish with the Dance of the Four Elemental Servants, Highway Queen with Bitter Soul, The Island with Purgatory, Kate Nord with Compass to Your Heart's Desire. Then we have 3 re-releases from Kawir, Epoptia, Isotheos, and Ophiolateria. Then we have Kruna with For Thine is the Kingdom of the Flesh. Holy shit. We have Quole Man Lasco with Qualadidin Laulu. I'm pretty sure that's in Finnish, and I probably butchered it, so sorry to any of our fans from Finland. Then we have Malice Spiritus with Vultures of Despair. We have Mare Infinitum with Cryosleep, Master with Chain of Gifts, Moss Generator with Time/Wounds. We have Necrophobic with Womb of Lilithu. Sorry. That's a re-release. We have Nigrum with 11-Fold Tail, Nostalgia with Wounds, Percussor with Ravenous Despondency, Rampage with Veil of Morn. That is a re-release. Rotten Coffin with the Agony in Slumber, Siberian Tusk with Reapers by Trade, Uncommon Evolution with Fry, and The Ring. That's WRING with Spectra. So yeah, a little bit of a shorter list this week. Quite a few re-releases, so that kind of narrows it down because we don't review those, and still a decent amount of EPs to choose from too. So,
and of course we can always look at YouTube and see what came out. It's not on the list. So,
pretty much. Which, by the way, the playlist that's on the screen right now is the theme of the week from last week. So,
right, yep. All right, good deal.
Yep.
Guess we will wrap this bad boy up then. We want to say thank you to Halo Scars, like all members.
Hell yeah, every single one.
Yeah, we're on the show, which is I think. Well, I would say it's a first. I mean, all members of Hidden Intent were available, but only only Phil and
if only Phil and Chris decided to get on camera.
Yeah. Paul was. They actually took pictures of him. It was funny on their website on Instagram. It showed them a picture of Paul on his laptop. I guess he was watching. I don't know, but he wasn't participating. But he was there. So
yeah, he was there. So
it was pretty funny. So. But yeah, we want to thank those guys for jumping on. And if you haven't checked out that EP, go check that out.
Absolutely.
Remnants of Decay. I want to make sure I got that. I couldn't remember if it was The Decay or Of Decay. So, Remnants of Decay. So check that out. And then check them out on all their socials and get a hard copy too if you like what you hear. So,
absolutely. Check them out and help them out. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to get these bands able to do this, for full time for a living. So.
Absolutely. Yep. Thanks for coming by, Victor. We appreciate you. You take care, buddy.
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see you next week.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it, Victor. Victor is definitely a big contributor to what we do. So
go check out Rock and Heavy. Yep, go check out his group.
Of course, Dana and Krista also were in the chat from
Metal and Tats.
Metal and Tats. Yep. So we appreciate them as well. Of course, they kind of manage Halo Scars a little, so,
a little bit,
or at least get them bookings and stuff. So
they're contributors. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody.
Yep.
In the chat, and of course, like I said, Halo Scars for coming on.
Yeah,
today.
everybody. Yeah.
Time out of there Saturday to come on with us for a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Of course, they got big things coming up, so they're going to be busy. It looks like so.
Yep. 23 will be a good year for them, and 23 will be a good year for us too. I have a very good feeling about that. And unless anything changes, that Halo Scars, they were our last guest for the year, which actually could be a good thing because we got a lot of stuff to review from the past years. So we're going to start going over that pretty soon. But until then, as always, check us out at the Metalheads Unite Facebook group for everybody who's a member there. If you want to become a member there, come on over and send us a member request. We'll get you guys hooked up. There's metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us there. We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got Twitter, which, I don't know if anybody even gives a shit about Twitter much anymore, but anyway, we got TikTok. Yeah, we got Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. So we've got all sorts of places you can find us. VOPUSARadio.com is the mothership for right now. We've got the VOP USA Radio app. Metalheads Unite radio.co. Metalheads Unite is easy to find. And like I say, all of our playlists that we've compiled, whether it be Jason's weekly playlist or our theme of the week, can be found on Spotify if you want to listen to those. There's definitely no shortage of heavy metal to listen to. So
with that being said, we appreciate everybody stopping in for the interview today. If you didn't catch that, like I said, you can always go back and watch that later. So pretty sure, you know what, all of our radio people are probably gone at this point since we're over our schedule there. So which we're trying to get that extended or something. Probably to talk.
That'd be something we do in 2023. Yeah.
But maybe I don't know if this is going to be a direction for the VOP or not. So he's
true.
Kind of working out details on this new thing. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. So
that's true too.
It definitely seems like it's going to be a better communication platform for sure, because they're working on trying to get all the chats into one where it's visible for everybody. So
that's right.
That's going to be a lot better, so they can kind of communicate in the chat with each other and without being just on Facebook. So
that'll be good because I know that we have so many other platforms that we're on, and I know Twitch is one of them. So Twitch is a big one, and I'm sure we have people who watch on Twitch that probably want to say something, but they don't know if we even ever see the damn things.
Mm-hmm. True. Anyway, we appreciate you guys for stopping in. Like I said, thanks again to Halo Scholars for joining us, and we will be back here next week for some regular content, and then and then after that, it's going to be kind of a yearly roundup probably for a couple of weeks there. So
yeah, and 2022 heavy metal wise has been outstanding.
Yeah. Looking forward.
It's been outstanding.
Look, just some of the albums that we know already are coming out in 23 is already looking pretty positive there too.
It's going to be 23 is going to be insane.
So you already got Anthrax and Testament and Death Angel and Metallica, of course, and then
Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah,
just so many.
Yeah, so many big albums.
So many, yeah.
So anyway. Thank you guys for stopping in this week, and hopefully we will see you back here again next week for, like I said, regularly scheduled programming. So, until then, you guys keep those devil horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, guys. Thank you very much.